Chapter 501, 500,000 Wolves Start a War. In the grassland shrouded by the night, Xianxia was running for his life. The bone-chilling wind pounced on him, but he, however, was perspiring greatly. Fast, faster. He screamed in his heart, pouring his primeval essence frantically into his movement Gu. Howl. Behind him, a night wolf group was charging towards him. The reason for that was the corpse of a night wolf's cub in Xianxia's hand, leading to this pursuit that had continued for several minutes. If it was before, these few minutes would be gone in a blink of an eye to Xianxia. But with the myriad wolf group closely chasing him, Xianxia felt every second of time passing very slowly and unendurably. Finally, I've arrived. Seeing the small ravine in front of him, Xianxia burst forth with newfound strength, rushing towards the ravine. Rumble. Close to 20,000 night wolves followed him into the ravine like a dark flood. They have entered. The Gu masters lying low in the ravine shouted in joy. Collect the net quickly, don't miss it. A rank 3 Gu master who was the leader of this group, sent the command immediately. Earth wall, rise up. A group of rank 2 Gu masters simultaneously activated rank 2 Earth Mound Gu. With so many Earth Mound Gu activated together caused the stones on the entrance of this narrow ravine to rapidly rise up, forming into a barrier like that of a rank 3 Earth Wall Gu. At the same time, on another side of the ravine were dozens of Gu masters who activated Falling Stones Gu. Large numbers of stones fell down and firmly blocked the entrance. The exit to this ravine was already sealed before. Now with the entrance blocked as well, the night wolf group that had entered was like a turtle trapped in a jar. The night wolf myriad beast king saw the situation turn bad and immediately led the wolf group to climb up the ravine and cross over it. However, at this time, a desolate and magnificent wolf howl resounded through the skies. Fang Yuan was riding on a night wolf emperor, commanding large numbers of night wolves to attack from above. The wild night wolf group's eyes turned red and howled furiously, but they hesitated because of the wolf emperor's presence. Clear Mind Gu. With a thought, Fang Yuan summoned a Clear Mind Gu. This was a rank 4 Gu. After the primeval essence poured into it, it immediately changed into a cool wind. The cool wind blew gently over the area. The night wolf group that was starting to turn frenzied due to the effect of onion explosion Gu immediately came to their senses when this cool wind blew over them. The wolf emperor howled again, turning this wild night wolf group to fall into a chaotic mess. Their formation crumbled and their will to fight received a huge impact. Fang Yuan laughed and commanded his wolf group to attack for real. There were already Gu masters who were tangling up the wild myriad wolf king. Fang Yuan first mobilized his wolf group to divide the wild night wolves before nibbling away at them. The whole situation was in his firm control. Then he approached the wild myriad wolf king and then at the opportune time, used rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu. In the end, he only had to pay the lives of few hundred night wolves to smoothly take in this myriad wolf king and close to 20,000 wolves. After this great success, the Gu masters remained behind to clean up the battlefield while Fang Yuan led the increased wolf group towards the next destination. There, another large group of wild night wolf group was waiting for him. You did good. A rank 3 leader patted Xianxia's shoulder and gave him 500 primeval stones along with a rank 3 Gu. This is your well-deserved reward. Xianxia wiped off the sweat off his forehead and looked at these primeval stones and the Gu while breathing heavily. He then looked at the distance, looking at Fang Yuan's receding figure with envy and admiration. Although I am a rank 3 Gu master and have some fame in the demonic path, I cannot be compared to Wolf King. This is a true big shot. When will I have such an accomplishment? In this night, Fang Yuan wandered thousands of li and took in 70,000 wild night wolves. Only by dawn when night wolves would not go out to hunt and had all returned to their nest, did Fang Yuan lead the wolf group back to He tribe camp. After He Lulan established the alliance, with the concept of safety in numbers, 5 enormous camps were stationed nearby. Fang Yuan's wolf group was divided among these 5 camps for the specialized people to feed them. These few days, he had taken in large numbers of night wolves. The night wolf group that was only about 30,000 originally, had now expanded to 320,000. The night wolf group had become the greatest force in Fang Yuan's troops in one go. Adding in the vermilion flame wolves, wind wolves, water wolves and others, Fang Yuan's wolf group had reached a huge size of 530,000. It is thanks to the Night Wolf Emperor that I could incorporate the night wolves so easily. Settling down the wolf group, Fang Yuan brought his exhausted body back to the secret room to rest. With the increase in the night wolf group, the numbers of myriad wolf kings Fang Yuan had to control also increased by several times. These large numbers of night wolf myriad beast kings created a burden on his soul, causing him to feel an increasingly heavy feeling in the depths of his soul. After sleeping for hours, Fang Yuan opened his eyes and sat cross-legged on a cushion and continued to cultivate Wolf Soul Gu. He used the Wolf Soul Gu, slowly converting his 1,000-man soul into Wolfman soul. Previously, he had 100 soul-level Wolfman soul which had a human body, wolf ears, wolf tail and wolf claws. But afterwards, he used large numbers of Guts Gu in Dang Hun Mountain and his soul rapidly expanded to 1,000-man soul. This instead caused the Wolf Soul Gu's effect to thin out and his soul recovered the appearance of a normal soul. The Wolf Soul Gu's effect was not clear at all. After more than 2 hours, it only slightly lengthened the wolf ears on Fang Yuan's human soul. But to Fang Yuan, the heavy feeling in the depths of his soul had lifted by a lot. With Wolfman soul, controlling wolf groups would become much easier because the wolves would acknowledge the Gu master as one of their own kind from the depths of their soul. Unfortunately, I do not have rank 5 Wolf Soul Gu and can only use the rank 4 Wolf Soul Gu. Its effects are clear on 100-man soul, but the effects have greatly weakened as I progress through 1,000-man soul. After using it for a long time, Fang Yuan stopped it while feeling some regret in his heart. However, rank 5 Gu were never easy to obtain. Refining rank 4 Wolf Soul Gu required an intact soul of a myriad wolf king. But to refine rank 5 Wolf Soul Gu required the soul of a wolf emperor. Moreover, even a refinement master would only have about 50% chance to successfully refine rank 5 Wolf Soul Gu. Fang Yuan had thought of purchasing it in Treasure Yellow Heaven, but when he recalled he only had 2 immortal essence stones left and the mysterious force hiding in the dark, he dispelled this plan for safety purposes. Although I can't directly buy it in Treasure Yellow Heaven, I have already mentioned this request to He Lulan. He tribe is part of the Huangjin family and their supreme elders are Gu immortals, thus they have extremely deep foundations. 2-3 days have already gone by, I might as well ask him now. With this thought, Fang Yuan walked out of the secret room and met He Lulan, but he expressed that his hands were tied. Brother Xianxia, truth be told, I have already written a letter to request it from the Supreme Elders. But they thought it would be better to give a live Wolf Emperor instead of rank 5 Wolf Soul Gu. And the Wolf Emperor cannot be given casually as well, their intention is to use battle merits to exchange for it. After all, I need to convince the masses as well. He Lulan was very cunning. Ever since Fang Yuan took the poison vow, his attitude was no longer as cordial as before. Together with the fact that he had used large amounts of manpower and physical resources over these days to help Fang Yuan incorporate the Night Wolf group, he felt he had done more than enough for Fang Yuan. Simultaneously, Fang Yuan's wolf group had expanded to over 500,000 in number. Such a large force also caused him to inwardly feel fear. Despite the restriction from poison vow, He Lulan was subconsciously guarded. Fang Yuan nodded and expressed his understanding. He had also commanded Little Hu Immortal to keep a close watch on Treasure Yellow Heaven to get any wolf emperors native to Northern Plains. Unfortunately, beast emperors were rarely sold. A beast emperor had been put for sale in these days, but it was a boar emperor and not a wolf emperor. Fang Yuan realized from He Lulan's words that he was already unable to hold back and was already preparing to start a war campaign. Over these days, Tian Chuan, Meng Qiu, Chao Fu and every other region of northern plains were already engaging in battle. Among the popular candidates for the ownership of imperial court this time, only He tribe had been holding back and growing the wolf group. Now, they had already accumulated enough wolves. He Lulan, who was full of hope, had already been impatient. Then Brother Lulan, which force do you want to attack first? Fang Yuan asked. He Lulan laughed heartily and patted Fang Yuan's shoulder. Little brother is really sharp. I won't hide it from brother, I want to attack Chao Fu and eradicate Dongfang tribe. Dongfang tribe has lot of beauties, especially that Dongfang Qinyu who is a famous beauty in northern plains. I want to kill all their men and capture all their women. Ha ha ha. Fang Yuan was slightly stupefied. History was still steering in the same direction. After making a detour, the focus still returned to Dongfang tribe. But with my 500,000 wolf group, it is different from my previous life. Dongfang tribe. Hee hee. Fang Yuan sneered inwardly. Reaching this stage, he could already influence the development of the future. But so what? Let history be completely changed. As long as there are prophets in front of him, so what if the sky and earth collapses, or if the floods reach heaven? Who cares if his reputation stinks for 10,000 years? The next day, He tribe completely pulled out the camp and began a majestic expedition towards Chaofu. This news immediately attracted the attention of all kinds of forces. The situation was changing crazily and Chaofu was preparing for a great battle. Different from Yutian's Heroes Assembly where Lu tribe and He tribe were evenly matched, Dongfang tribe occupied the greatest dominance in Chaofu's Heroes Assembly, suppressing the heroes and incorporating large numbers of tribes. Only Zhao tribe was barely resisting the pressure, not willing to agree to Dongfang tribe's harsh alliance conditions. The news of He tribe large expedition attracted almost all the attention of Dongfang tribe. Zhao tribe got space for a breather and showed signs of moving their tribe towards a corner. Dongfang tribe's current tribe leader was a rank 5 wisdom path Gu master Dongfang Yuliang. After making deductions and forecasts over a night without resting, he immediately changed the stiff stance and changed the conditions for joining the alliance to become extremely lenient and generous. Dongfang Yuliang personally traveled to invite Zhao tribe to join the alliance. Zhao tribe leader hesitated. Zhao tribe and Dongfang tribe had enmities between them, and this enmity had gotten deeper over the years. But Dongfang tribe's sincerity could be clearly seen right now and the conditions they offered were also very attractive. Maybe, this was a rare opportunity to resolve the old hatred and grudges with Dongfang tribe. Chapter 502, Zhao Lianyun. In the study room, Zhao tribe leader placed down the document wearily. Sunlight passed through the window and shone on his face. Due to handling the tribe affairs for a long time, this 50-year-old rank 5 initial stage Gu master already had white hair and a face filled with wrinkles. These days, because of He tribe's large-scale expedition and the personal invitation from Dongfang Yuliang, the tribe was divided into 2 factions. These 2 factions argued endlessly. One side wanted to side with Dongfang tribe and resolve the old grudges, while another side wanted to side with He tribe as He tribe was much bigger. Could siding with Dongfang tribe really resolve the old grudges? When he thought of the deep hatred that had accumulated over the generations between their tribe and Dongfang tribe, Zhao tribe leader could not speak with certainty. And siding with He tribe was also not right. Zhao tribe's main headquarters was after all in this Chao Fu region while He tribe represented Yutian's tyrants and had already gone through the vow with their allies. As a tribe who joined later, Zhao tribe would unavoidably be bullied and how much profits could they even obtain? They might even be treated as cannon fodder. N. Unleashing imagination, one read at a time. Thus, Zhao tribe leader was deeply conflicted. Especially these days, the tribe higher-ups were always busy arguing. Zhao tribe leader had to guard against that cunning Dong Fang Yu Liang scheme, while also needing to suppress the internal situation and lead the tribe. He was already very exhausted. Sigh. He heaved a deep sigh and leaned back on the chair, gazing at the dust that was floating in the sunlight. In this dazzling sunlight, the tiny dust could be clearly seen, and Zhao tribe leader felt he was like one of these dust, hesitating back and forth. Now it was floating in the air, but who is to say that it will not fall down to the ground when wind blows over? The battle between He tribe and Dong Fang tribe was precisely a violent wind that would sweep away everything. Facing such a wind, what path should his tribe take? Right as Zhao tribe leader was feeling frantic, a weeping sound suddenly came from outside the window. Hearing this familiar sound, Zhao tribe leader's brows slightly furrowed and revealed a concerned look as he immediately asked, "What's the matter?" The guard outside the door immediately replied, "Lord tribe leader, Big Missy slipped on the stairs and knocked her head while running here." Ah! Zhao tribe leader stood up with a pained expression. "How could my little darling fall? How much blood did she lose? Quick, bring her here." Zhao tribe leader had several sons, but they were all schemed and killed by Dong Fang Yuliang, leaving behind only a daughter. His daughter was only about 5 or 6 with a very mischievous nature, but her appearance was extremely similar to his late wife, and so Zhao tribe leader doted on her very much. Soon, the door to the study room was pushed open. The guard supported a little girl to the room. The girl looked like she was carved out of jade and looked extremely cute with her embroidered clothing. Right now, she, however, was sobbing, covering her forehead with her hand. "My little darling, my little Yun, where did you get hurt?" Zhao tribe leader quickly walked over and hugged the little girl, asking her with concern. "Father, did you go blind? The injury is on my forehead." The little girl furiously shouted inwardly, but on the surface, she smoothly leaned on Zhao tribe leader's chest and acted like a spoiled child. "Father, Yunyan's head hurts." Oh, let father take a look." Zhao tribe leader softly parted the hair that covered the little girl's forehead and saw a small scrape on her forehead. The scrape had slightly reddened but was still far from bleeding. But even so, Zhao tribe leader's heart hurt very much. He comforted his daughter with warm words before berating the old caretaker that had hurried over. "Nanny Wu, what are you doing? I told you to look after her closely and protect her at all times. Look, her forehead is wounded. This old lady should die. Please forgive me, Lord tribe leader." The old caretaker immediately kneeled with fear, cold sweat filling her face. But her heart was full of grievances. This child was the most crafty child she had seen in her whole life, and the most troublesome little demon. Normally, if she lost her concentration even a bit, the child would disappear somewhere bizarrely. The child was extremely crafty, toying with this adult woman until she wished she was dead. But in front of the tribe leader, the child showed an obedient and pitiful expression. Her acting was so brilliant that it seemed she was innately born with it. The old caretaker could not find the least bit of evidence on this little demon. "Father, don't blame Nanny, it is Yunyan's fault for carelessly running around," the little girl said in a soft voice. Adding in a sentence inwardly, "This old woman is too annoying, always following me the whole day. I had to self-harm myself to enter this study room, was it easy for me, huh?" Zhao tribe leader heaved a sigh and stroked the little girl's soft dark hair with a gratified expression. "Daughter, you are as kind-hearted as your mother." The old caretaker however roared inwardly, "Tribe leader, you have been deceived, your daughter is absolutely a demon." But she could only shout in her mind because she knew, very few people apart from her would be willing to believe this fact. She naturally did not dare to tell it. If she said it, who knew how this girl would tease and abuse her later on? Useless thing, if it were not for Yunyan asking for leniency. Leave. Zhao tribe leader waved his hand towards the old caretaker to order her to leave before looking at his daughter with a gentle expression. Little darling, why did you come here to play? Father, Yunyan was worried about you. I heard others say those elders were arguing with father these days and that you were upset and locked yourself in the study. The little girl looked concernedly at Zhao tribe leader with her large gleaming black eyes. But in truth, she was shouting in her mind, rubbish, if I did not come, my life would be in danger. Convenient dad, you are too indecisive, with the situation as it is now, you are still not immediately escaping. What on earth are you dilly-dallying for? Zhao tribe leader felt a twinge in his nose, his eyes reddened, almost letting out tears. Good girl, you finally know to care for your father. Father's love for you all this time was not in vain. Don't worry, father's health is quite good and my mood is much better now after I saw you. Convenient dad, it is a matter of life and death now and you are still so optimistic, so intolerable. For my future happy life, I need to show off a bit regardless of consequences. The girl roared in her mind and said with a couldn't care less expression while waving her small delicate hands, Father, Yun thinks those people who quarreled with you are idiots. Our Jing tribe is like a sheep, Dongfang tribe is a wolf while the tiger from Yutian is coming over. Wolf can't beat tiger, so it wants to find the sheep to help, but whichever side the sheep helps, the tiger or the wolf won't let it go in the end. The little girl's words shocked Zhao tribe leader's mind. The person on the spot is baffled, while the onlooker sees clearly. Sometimes the person involved needs to be enlightened by such words from the onlookers. That's right, whether we side with Dongfang tribe or He tribe, it will be like taking favors from a tiger. But can our Zhao tribe stay out of this? No, the blizzard disaster every 10 years has already decided there is no utopia in northern plains. The struggle for the imperial court is very significant. As long as one can enter imperial court blessed land, they can receive astonishing benefits. But which side should Zhao tribe take? The little girl had been observing the tribe leader's expression all this while and when she felt the time was right, she added, Father, I heard one tribe is very strong and also treats its people well. Sheep and horse are both vegetarians but tiger and wolf are carnivorous, it will be better for us to ally with Ma tribe. Zhao tribe leader's body shuddered. Right, why not? Ma tribe was different from He tribe and Dongfang tribe, the latter two had Gu immortal ancestors and the support of blessed lands. They had long-lasting history and were super tribes with deep foundations. Ma tribe was also part of the Huang Jin family, but they did not have a Gu immortal support and was advancing towards the level of a super tribe currently. Ma tribe leader and its young tribe leader were outstanding heroes, they would definitely welcome Zhao tribe. Except that to go to Tianchuan, it would be a long journey. Convenient dad, why on earth are you still hesitating? Decide quickly. The little girl who had been observing her father's expression changing frequently, felt very anxious inwardly. But Zhao tribe leader was thinking of the long distance they had to travel to Tianchuan to side with Ma tribe. This distance was filled with danger which caused him to hesitate. Helplessly, the little girl could only add on, Father, we should leave right away. This is the best time to leave, tiger and wolf are confronting each other, they don't have any spare strength to care about us. Zhao tribe leader's heart trembled. Right, why am I still hesitating? If I hesitate any longer, even the best chance to escape will be lost. Whether it is He tribe or Dongfang tribe, they are both not kind. If my tribe wants to get some profits in the battle for the imperial court, laying a bet on them is not a good thing. Good girl, you are extremely correct. Our Zhao tribe cannot meddle in such a huge battle, also cannot throw ourselves in this whirlpool. Right, we shall leave. Zhao tribe leader made the decision. The little girl leaning on his chest was almost sobbing tears of joy at this moment, as she sighed inwardly, Old man, you finally opened your eyes. Ah, it was not in vain that I took so much trouble to run over here to persuade you. But Yun, did you think up all these things? Did someone tell you to say so? Who was it? Tell father. Zhao tribe leader finally sensed something amiss and gazed at his daughter. The little girl's heart thumped, she promptly blinked her large eyes and showed an innocent expression. No one taught me. Father, this was all thought by Yunyun. Father works so hard every day, Yunyun does not want father to be so exhausted, so Yunyun wanted to help father. She then carefully said with a pitiful expression, Father, was Yunyun wrong? Zhao tribe leader's eyes flashed with a pleasantly surprised look. He did not think this little angel before him would deceive him. How old was this child? And he had watched her grow up. Since she was so intelligent at such a young age, her cultivation talent might also be extraordinary. Seeing his daughter afraid of being scolded, an affectionate feeling rose in Zhao tribe leader's heart. He stroked the little girl's hair. Yunyun, thankfully I have you. Father is really happy to have such a good daughter. Sigh, it has to be like this, since I've transmigrated here already. In life, friends can be chosen, but parents are predestined. Seeing how you have treated me well, I will naturally return the favor. The little girl said so inwardly, but on the surface, she hugged Zhao tribe leader's neck and kissed this convenient dad's cheek. Father, daughter likes you the most. Ha ha ha, good girl, you are really father's darling. Zhao tribe leader laughed loudly. Chapter 503, Dongfang Yuliang. Zhao tribe tore down their camp and left. He Lulan glanced at the information report before casually throwing it on the table. Zhao tribe might be a large-scale tribe, but it did not have elite troops and not even a decent Gu master expert. Although Zhao tribe leader was at rank 5 initial stage, he was challenged and defeated by Dong Pekong with his rank 4 peak stage cultivation 3 years ago. Thus, he did not have high prestige and also did not make too big of a contribution in his long years of being in power. If Zhao tribe had sided with Dongfang tribe, he might have given them some attention. After all, even a weak rank 5 Gu master could not be underestimated. However, Zhao tribe had fled in a sorry figure which caused He Lulan to be filled with contempt towards them. Northern Plains men admired the brave and looked down upon such cowardly conducts of escaping before even fighting. Congratulations to Alliance leader, we have not even truly attacked and yet we managed to scare off a large-scale tribe of the other side. Dongfang Yuliang should be bursting with rage. He had personally invited Zhao tribe but the other directly ran away, ha ha ha. In my opinion, Zhao tribe might be a large-scale tribe, but they are nothing outstanding, they were actually such cowards. Humph. The Gu masters in the main tent commented one after another, not concerned about Zhao tribe's stance. Fang Yuan who was sitting by the side swept his eyes through the information report on the table. Zhao Lianyun. He remembered this name. A mysterious woman who would become one of Ma Hongyun's wives, and also a wisdom path Gu immortal. Now, however, she was only a little girl. Looks like the famous persuasion of tiger, wolf and sheep has already utilized. Fang Yuan sneered inwardly. In his past life, after Zhao Lianyun became wisdom path Gu immortal, someone made a biography on her. This cultural tradition could be traced back to. This first classic of Gu was polished by many Gu masters spending their effort and time. For many outstanding Gu masters and Gu immortals, people would write and spread their biography to remember and praise them. In the contents of the biography of Zhao Lianyun displayed extraordinary intelligence and wisdom since she was young. In the huge battle where Black Tyrant He Lulan fought for the ownership of the imperial court, Zhao tribe was sandwiched between Dongfang tribe and He tribe. When Zhao tribe leader was hesitating, Zhao Lianyun used the comparison between tiger, wolf and sheep to persuade her father and made him decide to travel far away to side with Ma tribe. In the end, this allowed Zhao tribe to not only be protected, but also received extremely high importance and cordial welcome. His 500 years of memories of his past life was all in disorder, but this information was still fresh in Fang Yuan's memories. Simply because in the Battle of Five Regions, Ma Hongyun, Xingling Air and Zhao Lianyun would not only become Gu immortals but also become the symbols and cornerstones of northern plains in resisting the invasion of Heavenly Court. In the Five Regions, the biographies of such people would be widely spread and reviewed. People like Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun, I will send them to their deaths before they grow sooner or later. But there's no hurry at the moment. Fang Yuan restrained the killing intent in his heart while showing a tranquil expression on the surface. Whether it was Ma Hongyun or Zhao Lianyun, these people who rode the tides of the Five Regions battle, right now they were still a long distance away from becoming Gu immortals. Fang Yuan had plenty of time to deal with them. But Ma Hongyun, Fang Yuan had to keep him around to deal with the 88 True Yang building. As for Zhao Lianyun, although he wanted to kill her, he was hindered by his identity and the situation. After all, Fang Yuan was currently playing the role of Chang Shan-yin. The great Chang Shan-yin, how could he attach such importance to a girl that was only a few years old, to the point of wanting to kill her? Moreover, the matter of importance right now is to handle Dongfang tribe. Fang Yuan collected his thoughts and concentrated on the discussions again. After having ridiculed Zhao tribe for a while, everyone put their attention on their opponent this time. Dongfang tribe was the same as He tribe, a super tribe with deep foundations and was preeminently a huge force in Chaofu region. Dongfang Yuliang was this generation's tribe leader for Dongfang tribe, young and promising. Relying on his wisdom path cultivation, he not only handled all the tribe affairs cleanly, the tribe was even showing the trend of becoming more prosperous. Although He tribe's military strength was superior, their opponent was a wisdom path Gu master who was an expert in planning and deductions. Such strength could absolutely not be underestimated. If we talk of the greatest threat in this battle, it definitely is Dongfang Yuliang. Right, this kid is young but has great experience and knowledge, accomplished in the four arts as well as astronomy and geology. He lost his parents at 11, and he had to not only maintain his livelihood but also care for his then 6-year-old little sister Dongfang Qingyu. His parents had left him an enormous inheritance, but this kid knew clearly about the nature of men and that he could not protect the inheritance, so he gave these family assets to an authoritative elder, leaving only a small portion for himself. He performed extremely well during his time at the academy. After graduating, he became that elder's trusted aide. Afterwards, he made many contributions which got him the appreciation and recommendation from the elder, unexpectedly obtaining pointers from their Gu immortal ancestor, finally obtaining his current status and power. Everyone knew about Dongfang Yuliang in detail, each of them said a few words about his origins. Fang Yuan carefully listened. He had not heard of these in-depth things in his past life. Now that he was experiencing this, he immediately realized this Dongfang Yuliang was not simple and needed to be given importance. History is vast and profound, great waves sweep away the sand, who knows how many heroes it will sweep away. At the same time as everyone was discussing their focal point, Dongfang Yuliang was also planning for this extremely important battle, in the study room. Dong dong dong. 3 soft knocking sounds were heard. "You can come in, sister." Dongfang Yuliang knew who was it without even raising his head. The door was pushed open and a gentle, graceful and extremely beautiful girl wearing a light yellow dress came in with a bright appearance. She had soft and glossy skin with eyes that were clear and transparent, her soft voice was full of concern. "Big brother, the jade apricot blossom we got from Central Continent should have blossomed. Big brother, accompany me to go look at them." Dongfang Yuliang smiled. He knew he had worried his little sister by sitting in the study for a day and a night, and she was using this excuse to let him loosen up. "All right, let's go, Qingyu." The brother and sister walked out of the study together and arrived at the courtyard. Right now, light rain was falling down and dark clouds covered the sky. Far away, the rainy curtain and the horizon had merged into one, forming a gloomy green color. Coming closer, from the courtyard walls, one could see countless banners and the densely packed tents of Dongfang tribe. People moved to and fro in the camp. It was a clamorous scene as they were preparing for the coming battle. In the small courtyard, there were only the Dongfang siblings. The outside clamorous sounds were separated by the rainy curtain, making the small courtyard appear serene and quiet. Especially that jade apricot blossom with its delicate and exquisite petals which appeared moist and glossy from the rain, and its soft yellow color, gave a comforting feeling to the siblings. Big brother, I heard Zhao tribe has moved. After a while of silence, Dongfang Qinyu cautiously asked. Don't worry, little sister, big brother had already anticipated this. Dongfang Yuliang smiled and softly held his little sister's hand. Dongfang Qinyu slightly raised her head and looked at her big brother standing in this light rain with his white clothing, jade-like face, deep eyes along with his strategizing aura, carrying gracefulness and calmness. Dongfang Yuliang continued, the reason I invited Zhao tribe was to gather all the strength I could. But them leaving is also of no great matter. With my current force, we can still win against He tribe army. Dongfang Qinyu's worries disappeared by over half. Nothing can escape big brother's deductions. But the opponent this time is not a small character. Not only is there He Lulan, I heard the previous hero of Northern Plains, Wolf King Chang Shan, has also sided with him. Big brother, you need to be careful. He, little sister, do you still not believe your big brother? But Dongfang Yuliang softly comforted his little sister, a radiant light flashing in the depths of his pupils. We first met He Lulan when we went to adventure. This person harbored unkind thoughts towards you and was taught a good lesson by me. But now, it seems this person has still not given up. This time, big brother will teach him a lesson that he will never forget in all his life. As for Chang Shan, big brother has a plan to deal with him. All these are within my plans, you just need to recuperate at ease. Your body has been weak since young, don't worry too much. If you become ill, it will only distract me. Dongfang Qinyu lightly nodded with her mind completely relieved. Since young, it was big brother who cared for her, worried for her and looked out for her. She was like a young, delicate flower that was sheltered by this big tree, her big brother. All these years, she and her brother had gone through all kinds of difficulties together, this time too would be the same. Because since young till now, big brother has always been calm and collected like this. It is only that, if I didn't have this illness, if I had the aptitude to cultivate, it would have been much better. Dongfang Qinyu heaved a deep sigh in her heart. The siblings quietly stood there, looking at the jade apricot blossom. Little sister, standing in the rain for too long is not good for health, you should go back to rest. After a while, Dongfang Yuliang spoke. Big brother don't work too much. Dongfang Qinyu answered with her lovable voice. Looking at his little sister leaving and disappearing at the corner, Dongfang Yuliang could finally not hide his expression, his brows furrowed and revealed a worried expression. This battle was absolutely not as easy as he made it out to be. He Lulan himself is not an easy opponent, now there is Chang Shan as well. 500,000 wolves, really worthy of being an enslavement path master, just him alone can change the situation, causing this slightly superior He tribe to jump far ahead of my tribe. For this coming battle, our side must first deal with these 500,000 wolves. Otherwise, the hopes for victory will be extremely uncertain. I cannot lose. It was not easy for me to make Gu immortal old ancestor agree. If I can complete this secret mission, the old ancestor will personally solve the source of the illness in my little sister. For my little sister, I must become the master of imperial court and enter 88 True Yang building. Before this, anyone who dares to block my path must die. So, Wolf King Chang Shan Yin, why don't you die in this rain before the battle? Dong Fang Yu Liang looked at the dense dark clouds in the sky, his handsome face showing a very cold expression. Chapter 504, Assassination. The weights-like strength of Ten Jun Gu was quietly hovering above Fang Yuan's head. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, his body shrouded by the light from strength of Ten Jun Gu. A long time passed. Fang Yuan opened his eyes, the light slowly dispersed and the strength of Ten Jun Gu only was half of its original size. I can still use it twice. Fang Yuan silently evaluated. Strength of Ten Jun Gu was an expendable Gu. After completely using this one, Fang Yuan would possess 70 Jun of strength. This strength could only be said to be just passable even among rank 4 initial stage strength path Gu masters. All-out effort Gu was suppressed to rank 2 and if it was not resolved, there would be no possibility for a qualitative change in Fang Yuan's strength path cultivation. That is to say, his strength path battle strength was not useful in this short period of time. He checked his first aperture and second aperture again. The vital Gu of the first aperture was spring-autumn cicada which was still in a concealed state and was recuperating. The 90% purple crystal primeval sea was gleaming with light, dyeing the rank 5 peak stage crystal walls with purple color. Above the sea was wolf smoke Gu which looked a lump of dark clouds in the shape of a wolf. The completely repaired battle bone wheel was afloat on the surface along with the spotless white willow leaf-like snow wash Gu. Rank 5 hints and clues Gu was diving like a cuttlefish, playing occasionally with the wolf swallow Gu. At the bottom was large numbers of wolf enslavement Gu, many strength of 10 Jun Gu and some wolf soul Gu. At the same, the most important Gu to Fang Yuan currently, Stargate Gu, Moving Perspective Cup Gu, East Window Gu, Soul Burial Gu and Instant Success Gu, were lurking around. As for Wolf Howl Gu, Wolf Care Gu, Eagle Rise Gu, Wolf Sprint Gu and Breath Concealment Gu, they were residing in different places on his body. As the time Fang Yuan spent in Northern Plains increased, his body was also gradually adapting to the Northern Plains environment. His first aperture's cultivation had already recovered to rank 5 middle stage but Fang Yuan had all along been using breath concealment Gu to suppress his aura to rank 4 peak stage. It was a different scene in the second aperture. The crystal membrane of the second aperture shone brightly. 90% true gold primeval sea rippled and gleamed. After these days of cultivating, Fang Yuan's second aperture had grown to rank 4 peak stage from rank 3 peak stage. At the center of the aperture was the rank 3 all-out effort Gu. Besides this, there were rank 3 strength Qi Gu which could condense beast phantoms into solid form, rank 4 bitter strength Gu which could increase strength the more one got injured. Rank 4 charging crash Gu, rank 3 Tusita flower, primeval elder Gu, rank 4 expend strength Gu and the healing Gu rank 3 self-reliance Gu. As for Vitraster Gu, turn gold Gu, pitch black Gu, blood skull Gu, bone flesh unity Gu, yin-yang rotation Gu and others, they could not be used at the moment and were thus left behind in Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Because Fang Yuan appeared in Northern Plains first from Langya Blessed Land, his second aperture was approved by Northern Plains and its rank 4 peak stage cultivation did not receive any suppression. Second aperture's cultivation could increase so rapidly because of those relic Gu Fang Yuan bought before. But due to the limited immortal essence stones he was unable to buy purple crystal relic Gu, so now the second aperture's cultivation would depend on Fang Yuan's own effort. Rank 4 to rank 5 is a process of qualitative change, there is a huge gap between them. I might as well raise my second aperture's cultivation to rank 5 initial stage tonight. Seeing there was enough time, Fang Yuan continued to sit cross-legged, deciding to break through to rank 5 realm. Second Aperture's cultivation was already at rank 4 peak stage and already had sufficient foundation. Its aptitude could not be higher than the First Aperture, but with Xianxia Land's spirit personally refining it, its aptitude also reached 90%. For normal Gu masters who fulfilled these two conditions, they had enough capital to break through to rank 5 realm. Normally, they would gain enough experience after some failures and then successfully advance. But experience had always been a strong point of Fang Yuan, and this obstacle did not exist for him. More importantly, First Aperture and Second Aperture's primeval essence could be mutually used. There were no two leaves that were completely the same in this world. Similarly, primeval essence was unique to each Gu master. If Gu masters transferred primeval essence to each other without the use of Gu like bone-flesh unity Gu, the foreign primeval essence would mix together and the aperture would explode eventually. However, whether it was the first or second aperture, they both belonged to Fang Yuan. Their essence was the same, so the primeval essence could be mutually transferred. Rise! Fang Yuan silently willed, and the purple crystal primeval essence in his first aperture charged towards the second aperture in the center of his chest. A rank 5 peak stage primeval essence charging at rank 4 crystal membrane was bound to cause an intense reaction. At the crack of dawn, Fang Yuan had successfully broken through to rank 5 initial stage. The breakthrough to rank 5 this time was the easiest one in all the attempts he had ever tried. N0V3LTR0VE served as the original host for this chapter's release on N0V3LB1N. But because I used First Aperture's primeval essence, the Second Aperture has also received the region suppression now. Fang Yuan could perceive that the Second Aperture right now had light purple primeval essence, but activating it would only give the effect of the previous true gold primeval essence. In just over half a month, the suppression on the Second Aperture will fade, while the First Aperture will completely blend into Northern Plains environment in 3 months and will no longer receive suppression. It will also be the time when the struggle for the Imperial Court reaches the climax. Fang Yuan let out a breath of turbid air and stood up to stretch his body. A night of cultivation without rest gave him a slight feeling of tiredness. He pushed open the secret room's door. The two rank 3 Gu masters guarding in front of the door immediately greeted him. One of the Gu masters gave good news to Fang Yuan. Lord Wolf King, our Gu masters were fortunate enough to capture a shark fin wolf in the wild. We have locked it within a cage. Tribe leader has told me to inform Lord, when you finish your cultivation, to go to the supply camp to subdue it. This news was an unexpected surprise to Fang Yuan. Shark fin wolf was a mutated beast with the battle strength of a rank 4 Gu master. Although Fang Yuan had purchased a batch of mutated wolves in Treasure Yellow Heaven, he did not bring them out due to the lack of a clear explanation. If there was a shark fin wolf by his side guarding him, Fang Yuan would no doubt be much safer while battling. After a while, Fang Yuan entered the supply camp. Tu Bo greets Lord Wolf King. A rank 3 Gu master hurried over to welcome Fang Yuan. He was short and fat, his chubby face shining with a glossy light. He spoke with a flattering voice, Lord Wolf King, I have already been waiting for a long time to receive you. At Tu Bo's lead, Fang Yuan and others soon saw that shark fin wolf in a wooden cage. The shark fin wolf was as huge as an elephant and was lying in the cage at this moment. Its whole body was covered with firm carapace like a crocodile's. On its back, a row of shark fins extended from its head to tail. The light of dawn shone on its body. This shark fin wolf was closing its eyes, its consciousness lost under the effect of slumber Gu. Congratulations to Lord. Shark fin wolf is the mutated wolf with the strongest defense. With this wolf's protection, Lord will be like a tiger that has grown wings. What's rarer is that shark fin wolf can not only fight on land, but has even more battle strength underwater. The two rank 3 Gu master guards looked at this divine steed shark fin wolf and commented while congratulating Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan smiled and looked at this shark fin wolf, his eyes slightly narrowed as he absent-mindedly asked, how many people were sacrificed to capture this mutated wolf. Tu Bo knew Fang Yuan was asking him, immediately replying, "We had to sacrifice 4 rank 3 Gu masters and at least over 200 rank 2 Gu masters. If not for Wang tribe leader and Fang tribe leader's timely reinforcement, this shark fin wolf would have escaped." Fang Yuan nodded, his eyes squinting to a slit. "This shark fin wolf is riddled with injuries, but it looks like it had old injuries." "Yes. If not for its old injuries, the investigative Gu master might not have been able to escape alive and hurry back to report. I can see that Lord Wolf King has obtained the blessing of longevity heaven, sending you an injured shark fin wolf before the great battle." Tu Bo flattered. "Fortunate." Fang Yuan muttered, a feeling of uneasiness becoming ever stronger in his heart. He was not clear on how this feeling arose, but it gave him an indescribable sense of danger. He asked several questions but did not find anything wrong. Shark fin wolf was a mutated beast, having battle strength of a rank 4 Gu master. Because it had old injuries, it could be held back and captured alive. Everything was reasonable. The only unreasonable thing was the uneasy feeling in Fang Yuan's heart. But Fang Yuan placed utmost importance on this instinct. He did not have this feeling when he had just crossed over in his previous life. It was an intuition that was born from the accumulation of his plentiful experience after enduring hundreds of years of trials and countless deadly situations. People became astute as they aged. No matter how stupid someone was, after experiencing many losses and trials, and seeing many things, they would naturally gain some wisdom. In truth, not only humans, even ordinary beasts would have a type of intuition and sensitivity towards danger. Under the surrounding Gu master's anticipating looks, Fang Yuan took out a rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu. "Here, take it, subdue this mutated wolf." What was unexpected was Fang Yuan did not personally make a move, instead gave the wolf enslavement Gu to Tu Bo. "Lord wants me to use it." Tu Bo was astonished, "But I am only at rank 3. Speak less nonsense and use it quickly." Fang Yuan impatiently shouted, forcibly handing the wolf enslavement Gu to Tu Bo. Tu Bo was helpless. He did not know what eccentric temperament a lord like Wolf King had, but due to Fang Yuan's prestige, he could only start pouring primeval essence into the wolf enslavement Gu. He poured his primeval essence for a long time, and only when he was starting to sweat profusely from the exhaustion, did the rank 4 wolf enslavement Gu slowly activate. Wolf enslavement Gu turned into a mystical light and descended on the shark fin wolf's body while flickering. Sigh. A regretful sigh of a female suddenly resounded in everyone's ears. At that instant, the warning sign in Fang Yuan's heart suddenly soared and he immediately retreated without thinking. A trembling feeling instantly engulfed the souls of everyone present. Almost at the same moment, Tu Bo suddenly opened his mouth and let out a miserable cry before dying on the spot. The 2 rank 3 Gu master guards were overwhelmed with shock. They simply did not know how Tu Bo lost his life. Subconsciously, they followed Fang Yuan and quickly flew back. But soon, one of them suddenly shuddered, losing all life while still in midair. Soul explosion. A light flashed past Fang Yuan's mind as he blurted out. "Lord Wolf King sure enough has extraordinary insights." A woman's soft sound echoed beside his ear, followed by surging shadows. The shadows were like swords, overlapping over one another, and suddenly opened up like a peacock fanning its feathers before binding Fang Yuan's body incisively. Rank 4, multiple sword shadow Gu. Cling clang. Immediately, concentrated sounds echoed, blending into one. Multiple sword shadows struck Fang Yuan's body, producing dazzling sparks like gold colliding with iron. Fang Yuan's skin turned dark green, and if one carefully observed it, they would see patterns over his body like that on a turtle shell. Rank 5, Turtle Jade Wolf Skin Gu. Female scoundrel. The remaining rank 3 Gu master roared when he saw Fang Yuan being attacked. and changed his direction to help out. The female Gu master who was mounting a sneak attack on Fang Yuan snorted, ignoring him as she made the multiple sword shadows go more berserk. At the same time, she spat out a thin snake. The snake was like a black thread that passed by the sword shadows and directly moved towards Fang Yuan's ear. Fang Yuan was expressionless, his gaze as cold as an icy mountain. He suddenly moved his right hand and grabbed the rank 3 Gu Master Guard who came to assist him. Lord Wolf King. The rank 3 Gu Master was startled. He had come to protect Fang Yuan and had never imagined Fang Yuan would actually grab him. While he was astonished and dazed, Fang Yuan pulled him towards his right side, right in between Fang Yuan and Shark Fin Wolf. Almost at the same time, the rank 3 Gu Master gave a short pained groan, his whole body twitched, his eyes rolled and he foamed from his mouth. The thread-like snake took this chance to slither into Fang Yuan's ear. Fang Yuan gave a stuffed snort, he then let go of the rank 3 Gu Master and started to pound the sword shadows. The female Gu Master could perceive the enormous strength contained within these punches. She softly chuckled and did not receive the punches forcibly, instead called back the multiple sword shadow Gu, her body then turned into a black shadow as she swiftly retreated 20 steps away. The black shadow landed on the shadow of a tent and turned back into a woman. This woman looked exquisite, she wore black clothing and her face was covered with a black gauze, only revealing a pair of narrow red phoenix eyes. From top to bottom, her body let out a gloomy and solitary aura, adding a demonic charm to her beauty. One look at her and it would be hard to forget. Junior Shadowless Sword Bian Si Xian greets Lord Wolf King. The woman slightly bowed towards Fang Yuan. She was in the enemy camp with enemies surrounding her, but she looked calm and at ease. Fang Yuan snorted and questioned, "What Gu did you assault me with?" Bian Si Xian smiled, "When Junior went on an expedition once, in a certain ruins, I unexpectedly discovered a strange Gu worm. When activated, it would pierce into the ear and enter the brain. As long as the person thinks faster for even a bit, this Gu will rapidly expand till the brain bursts. Thus Junior has named it Brain Explosion Gu." Fang Yuan's expression sank. Bian Si Xian bowed once more, her tone full of sincere admiration. Senior could actually perceive Lord Dongfang's meticulously planned fatal trap and even avoid most of the force of soul explosion. Junior is truly in admiration. Taking Senior's life will be Junior's greatest honor. Farewell. Immediately afterwards, she turned into a black shadow and ran through the shadows of the buildings. She's Shadow Sword Expert. Damn it, block her. Many Gu masters who had hurried because of the noise, shouted furiously and attacked at the shadows, but Bian Si Xian's black shadow had already disappeared. She left, or was she still here? For a moment, no one dared to be certain. "We came late, we ask for Lord Wolf King's forgiveness." "Lord Wolf King, are you all right?" The worried crowd quickly surrounded Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's body did not suffer heavy injuries but his skin and hair were slashed by the sword shadows, making him look quite miserable. "What could happen to me?" A group of incompetent trash. No one realized that the other party had infiltrated the camp. "All of you get lost." Fang Yuan shouted in anger, but he was secretly joyful. He had not thought that in this assassination attempt, a clue to one of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's inheritances would become his. Brain Explosion Gu. Did you really think I could not have blocked it? Humph, inexperienced junior. In Fang Yuan's past life's memories, this shadow sword expert Bian Si Xian was an important character. She was one of Ma Hongyun's wives and would become rank 6 Gu immortal in the future. It was because of her Brain Explosion Gu that Ma Hongyun could obtain one of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's inheritances. It was only that Ma Hongyun had always avoided mentioning what this inheritance was or the concrete details of it, so Fang Yuan was also not clear. He only knew how to properly activate this brain explosion Gu. Ma Hongyun always avoided talking about it. One could see how big of a harvest he had gained from this inheritance and was afraid of others coveting it if he told the truth. Fong Yuan looked extremely furious on the surface, but his heart was calmly analyzing the event. Chapter 505, Star Thought Gu. We did not succeed after all. Dong Fong Yu Liang looked at the rain outside the window with his arms behind his back, sighing. This shark fin wolf was captured from the wild intentionally. He paid a hefty price. After that, he made some secret markings on the shark fin wolf, and as he was afraid of his enemy finding out, he purposely chose a rank 5 soul explosion Gu and planted it inside the shark fin wolf. Finally, he sent an assassin in the demonic path who was famous in Northern Plains, Shadow Sword Expert, and gave the corresponding Gu needed to activate the soul explosion to her, instructing carefully. This assassination that he planned meticulously, in order to not waste his efforts, he made several simulations, until all the flaws and loopholes were removed. Be it the shark fin wolf's body, the location or time it appeared, even the attitude of the Gu master who discovered the shark fin wolf was considered by him. But even so, he did not succeed. At the crucial moment, Wolf King Chang Shan-yin found something amiss and ordered someone else to strike. Seeing that the chance was slipping away, Shadow Sword Expert had to activate Soul Explosion Gu. The power of Soul Explosion was formless and colorless, it could not be seen with the naked eye, but Chang Shan-yin was able to escape at the first moment and reveal the truth. As he was restricted by Bian Si Xian's attacks, he only managed to get to the furthest range of the soul explosion, but in the moment of crisis, he was extremely calm, using the reinforcements as a shield and blocked most of the soul explosion's strength. His reputation matches his abilities, as expected of the Wolf King who shook Northern Plains. Dong Fong Yu Liang heard Bian Si Xian's report and raised his evaluation of Fong Yuan. With a mutated beast before him, he managed to control the temptation. With his vigilant nature, he made the correct judgment in the face of danger, and immediately spotted the soul explosion's range, the callousness of using his own alliance mate as a shield, as well as the calmness to not chase after the perpetrator after being assassinated. Wolf King. Dong Fong Yu Liang muttered, his heart becoming heavier. Dong Fong Alliance leader does not need to worry. Although Chang Shan-yin used a meat shield at the last moment, he was still obstructed by me and was within range of the soul explosion. Furthermore, he was afflicted by my brain explosion Gu. Even if this Gu didn't take his life, his battle strength would be greatly affected. We can say that Wolf King is basically crippled now. At a corner of the study room, Bian Si Xian wore black clothes as she stood among the shadow, saying in a cold voice. Brain explosion Gu. Dong Fong Yu Liang was stunned, this was the first time he had heard of this Gu. Bian Si Xian laughed lightly, explaining to him the origin of this Gu. So that's it. Dong Fong Yu Liang heard this and his eyes shone, he sighed as he thanked Bian Si Xian. It was all thanks to Shadow Sword Expert's help this time, but you lost a great trump card in the progress. Bian Si Xian did not speak. Actually, her heart was bleeding too. Ever since she had tested the effects of brain explosion Gu, she had kept it as one of her trump cards. Many of her assassinations succeeded because of it. But when she assassinated Chang Shan-yin, the situation was urgent and she could not kill Chang Shan-yin on the spot, thus she could not retrieve it. When the enemy forces came, she had to retreat to protect herself. This is the reward that you were promised earlier. Dong Fong Yu Liang took out a Gu worm from his aperture. This Gu's body was black, it had a horn and square shell. It was fist-sized but gave people a heavy feeling. This was the rank 4 overlapping Shadow Gu. Bian Si Xian's gaze landed on overlapping Shadow Gu, showing some desire and anxious emotion. Although she had multiple sword Shadow Gu, the attacks were dispersed and she would face a tough battle when fighting against a defensive opponent. If she could have overlapping Shadow Gu, she could overlap the sword shadows together, and form a strong attack. It would be a huge boost to her battle strength. But quickly, Bian Xian retracted her gaze, not taking the overlapping shadow Gu. In the shadows, her cold voice could be heard carrying some arrogance. This overlapping shadow Gu will be kept by Alliance leader for now, after the Wolf King dies, I will come and take it. Saying so, she fused into the shadows, vanishing. Dongfang Yuliang was slightly stunned, he kept the overlapping shadow Gu back into his aperture. This shadow sword expert is truly a person of her word, no wonder she can gain such success among the large tribes despite being a demonic path Gu cultivator. Many righteous path Gu masters would spend a heavy sum to hire her. It seems that she is very confident in brain explosion Gu. If this can really get rid of Wolf King, then I will have one less threat to worry about, that is the best case. But what if she fails? What if brain explosion Gu was successfully resolved by Chang Shan-yin? At the crucial moment, he had chosen to deal with the soul explosion Gu and instead allowed the brain explosion Gu to enter his ear. That shows he had some confidence and countermeasure for this problem. Dongfang Yuliang's gaze dimmed, but Wolf King was indeed affected by the soul explosion. There are more variables now, I have to make new deductions. Thinking of this, he moved beside the bookshelf and turned the incense holder, opening up a secret tunnel. Walking in the secret tunnel, he came to a deep area. Here, he had planted an earth bacteria king Gu. This Gu was a type of Gu house, the space was cramped inside but it was enough for a person to cultivate. Most importantly, the earth bacteria king Gu had strong defense, it could ensure Dongfang Yuliang's safety. After he entered the Gu house, Dongfang Yuliang closed the exit. The entire earth bacteria king Gu curled into a ball and went further down by a few meters before stopping. The earth bacteria king Gu's internal walls were soft and thick, like a carpet. Dongfang Yuliang sat down and closed his eyes. His mind entered his aperture, activating his rank 5 primeval essence and injected it into his star thought Gu. N00V Euro LS at 1 and hosted the premiere release of this chapter. He started to think. If Wolf King manages to deal with brain explosion, how do I deal with him? The moment this question emerged in his mind, under the effect of star thought Gu, it formed into a thought. Ordinary thoughts were formless and without matter, it could exist in the brain. But this thought gave off a blue starlight, not only could it be seen with the naked eye, it could also leave his brain and head, flying above Dongfang Yuliang. Dongfang Yuliang quickly thought, to deal with an enslavement path Gu master, there are 3 ways. The first is the supreme method, pitting enslavement path master against enslavement path master. The second thought shining with starlight flew out of Dongfang Yuliang's brain, flying together with the first star thought. The second is the domination method, using the beheading leader tactic, charging forward and taking his life from within the army of defense. The third star thought spun around the first star thought as well. This third is the peculiar method, assassinating Chang Shan-yin, using bribes or kinship against him. The fourth star thought flew out as well, coiling together with the previous thoughts and collided at times. But no matter how they clashed, the 4 thoughts remained as 4, there were no changes. Soon after, Dongfang Yuliang recalled, our side's military force, the enemy's military force, both sides' rations, Chang Shan-yin's personality and motive, all of our expert Gu masters' information, all of the enemy's expert Gu masters' information, the recent weather prediction and changes, the terrain of the battlefield, how many mounds, lakes, how many beast groups nearby, whether any forces will intervene. Poof! In an instant, thousands of star thoughts formed at once, gushing out of his brain towards Dongfang Yuliang's head. At once, starlight was shining brightly. Dongfang Yuliang's expression paled as his primeval sea level fell drastically. He manipulated these star thoughts proficiently. Orbs of star thoughts, big and small, the biggest were toe-sized while the smallest were thumb-sized. Within this crowded space, these star thoughts collided with each other. Some star thoughts collided and formed into 3 or 4, even 5 or 6 new star thoughts. Some fused instead, while others split themselves into smaller orbs. Hundreds and thousands of thoughts filled the air, they were densely packed, circulating around Dongfang Yuliang. The primeval sea level continued to fall. Dongfang Yuliang's mind was completely focused, manipulating these star thoughts to fuse and collide, or split into new ones. Due to his hard work, or through the help of his other wisdom path Gu worms, the star thoughts continued to decrease in number. After 4 hours, from the hundreds and thousands of star thoughts, only 8 were left. But these 8 star thoughts were fist-sized, shining with starlight as they contained a complicated thought. As these star thoughts entered Dongfang Yuliang's brain, his eyes shone with the light of wisdom. He had successfully deduced several methods to deal with Wolf King. These methods were organized and clear, with proper steps to be taken. If it was a normal person, they would have to think for a month or 2 to clear out these thoughts. In fact, it would be difficult to get the solution from among these messy thoughts. But using his wisdom path method, Dongfang Yuliang spent only 4 hours and got his answer. But these answers were not the only ones. Taking out primeval stones to recover his primeval essence, Dongfang Yuliang rested for a while before starting to analyze the same question again. This time, he only spent an hour and obtained 7 star thoughts. The star thoughts entered his brain, and he got some answers after reading them. These answers were very similar to the ones before, but there were minute details that were different. Dongfang Yuliang breathed a sigh of relief, finally stopping. After a while, he relied on his primeval stones to recover his primeval essence back to its peak condition. But in the depths of his soul, there was a strong sense of fatigue circulating around him. He could not get rid of it. The deductions of wisdom path not only expended primeval essence when activating Gu worms, it also expended the soul's energy. The more deductions made, or the grander the scale of the thoughts, the longer the deduction would take, and the greater the burden on the soul. Feeling a sense of weakness was normal. If the difficulty of the deduction was higher, the soul might get damaged, or he might even die. Of course, as a rank 5 wisdom path Gu master, Dongfang Yuliang, who had received guidance from a Gu immortal, naturally had a complete set of Gu worms. Rank 4, Refine Essence Spirit Gu. Dongfang Yuliang's body became thinner immediately, as the vitality in his body was converted by the Refine Essence Spirit Gu into resources for his soul. The soul was nourished, and his fatigue faded quickly. But a strong sense of hunger soon assaulted him. Dongfang Yuliang rubbed his tummy, laughing bitterly in his heart. Refine Essence Spirit Gu, a secretly passed down Gu in my Dongfang tribe. It can heal the soul well, but it does not treat the core of the issue. Soul path and wisdom path are closely related. If I can get the legendary Guts Gu, I would be able to make deductions as I wish. Even if my soul gets damaged, I can easily heal it. What a pity that Guts Gu can only be found on Dang Hun Mountain. Chapter 506, 3 Hearts Combination Soul. After a few days of ominous rain, it finally stopped. The dark clouds dispersed in the sky, as pillars of light shone through the clouds, landing on the wet grassland. The sky was wide and huge, a truly grand sight. He Alliance army formed into a current as they flowed towards Chaofu. Looking ahead, there were people all around. Looking back, the dark troops looked like a tail, extending beyond where one could see, but this was only the middle troops. Other than this, there were the vanguards, support troops, left and right defense troops. This displayed He Alliance's grand army perfectly. A huge twin-headed rhino's body was covered in steel armor as it moved like a small astle. With 16 pairs of pillar-like legs, it moved forward, stepping on the grass causing a dent in it. This was the rank 4 strength huge beast twin-headed steel rhino. It was being manipulated by an enslavement path Gu master as it gave off an imposing aura. He tribe's main tent was on its back, as He Lu Lan sat at the center of the main tent. The tent was propped up highly and their field of vision was very wide. He was black and fat, his face was full of hair. He laid down on the tiger-skin chair, raising his head to gulp some wine in one mouthful. Ha ha ha, looking at my army's formation, there is no reason to fear that Dong Fong Yu young lad. He looked around, the flames of ambition burning in him, as his laughter revealed a brutal and violent aura. Lord Alliance Leader is right. I'm afraid that Dong Fong lad is already peeing his pants in fear already. With all the heroes present here, our army can definitely take down the opponent swiftly in this battle. In the main tent, the higher-ups present were mostly rank 4 experts. There were few rank 3 peak stage Gu masters. They were laughing and optimistic, agreeing with He Lu Lan's words. Only one person was seated right beside the main seat. He was expressionlessly resting his eyes, like an outsider, paying no heed to the conversations. But this did not make anyone unhappy. In fact, this felt natural to them. He Lu Lan filled his wine cup as he toasted this person. Brother Shan Yin, let's have a drink. Fong Yuan opened his eyes, raising his cup as he toasted He Lu Lan, drinking the delicious wine together. Brother Shan Yin, still thinking about that assassination? Ha 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 ha, that shadow sword expert is indeed a beauty. I have sent my men to deal with her already. That Dong Fong lad is shameless. He dared to carry out an assassination, but we cannot show any weakness. After we win this battle and capture that woman, she will be yours to deal with. He Lu Lan urged with his rough voice. Everyone laughed. With Lord Wolf King's assistance, any defense line can be broken. A Gu master immediately bootlicked. Extremely true. I heard that shadow sword expert is beauty as a flower. She would definitely be fun in bed. A male Gu master winked, showing an expression that all men can understand. What assassination can take our Lord Wolf King's life? It is but that Dong Fong lad's wishful thinking. No matter how many assassinations they carry out, we are not afraid. The Gu master in charge of the camp's defenses laughed. Fong Yuan snorted, looking at this person coldly. How many assassinations do you want? Letting someone sneak in here and leave as they wish, aren't you ashamed at all? The tent turned quiet. He Lu Lan quickly soothed the atmosphere. Sigh, don't be angry brother Shan Yin. But before he finished, Fong Yuan interrupted him. Never mind the rest, but hey tribe leader, where are the materials and Gu worms that I wanted? Using the opportunity of the assassination, Fong Yuan flew into a rage and demanded some fright recovery fees. He Lu Lan's eyes flashed with unhappiness for a moment, as he laughed. I have sent them to your tent, brother. Fong Yuan nodded in satisfaction, standing up. In that case, I shall go and cultivate. When the battle begins, call me. Saying so, he did not wait for He Lu Lan's reply before jumping off the twin-headed rhino, leaving everyone's vision. He Lu Lan snorted with his nose, slamming his wine cup on the table. After he succeeded in making the alliance, he became the alliance leader. The authority of controlling tens of thousands of people made him feel great satisfaction. He could not tolerate Fong Yuan's arrogant attitude. The tent was still silent. But quickly, an ominous voice spoke, this Lord Wolf King. I understand now why Chang tribe could not tolerate him back then. Everyone heard this and did not say anything, but agreement could be seen on their expressions. N0V3 LTR0VE served as the original host for this chapter's release on N0V3LB1N. Chang Shanin was arrogant, but any organization had its chain of commands. Any person in power would not allow a subordinate's disregard for the system. Oh, it is cunning gentleman Sun Shirhan. He Lu Lan turned his gaze over and saw the person speaking. He pointed at Fong Yuan's seat. Come, since Chang Shan Yin left already, you shall sit here. Sun Shirhan was overjoyed. He made bad remarks about Fong Yuan in order to please He Lu Lan after all. He Lu Lan accepted his goodwill. After all, Fang Yuan's seat was the closest to He Lulan, but this was the reason why not anyone could sit there. Sun Shihan was called Cunning Gentleman. He was a cunning and devious person, adept at using schemes and plots, but he always had a good excuse for what he did, using the banner of righteousness to abide by the rules of the game. Although he was extremely shameless, no one could do anything to him. Sun Shihan had rank 4 initial stage cultivation. He knew he had no qualifications to sit on Fang Yuan's seat. But he had a plan. He stood up from his seat and bowed to He Lulan. "Thank you, Alliance Leader, but there cannot be reward without hard work. For this battle, I have thought about it for 7 days and 7 nights. I have 23 ideas to offer to you." Oh. Sun Shihan immediately said his 23 ideas, each sentence cut to the point. He was extremely familiar with Dongfang Alliance army, especially all the expert Gu masters that they had. He evidently put in great efforts for this. At once, everyone's attention was on him. After he finished, He Lulan clapped as he laughed. "As expected of cunning gentlemen, that is a good plan." Sun Shihan laughed as he continued, reporting to Alliance Leader, "Just earlier, I have thought of a new plan. It is called expression weakness to the enemy. That Dongfang Yuliang assassinated Wolf King Chang Shanin. The Wolf King was affected by Soul Explosion Gu but did not die. Dongfang Yuliang would definitely plan again and make many moves against Lord Wolf King. Why don't we make do with this, and order the Wolf King to stay put? Only after we tear down Dongfang Yuliang's methods in battle will we call the Wolf King to strike, to put an end to the enemy. What do you think about this, Alliance Leader?" Everyone heard this and raised their brows. Some were silent. He Lulan's gaze shone for a bit. He thought about it and said solemnly, "Sun Shihan's plan is not bad. We will see about it." This answer was very vague, but Sun Shihan showed a happy expression. "Sit." He Lulan pointed at the seat again. "Thank you, Lord, for the seat. I am honored." Saying so, Sun Shihan really kneeled on the ground and kowtowed to He Lulan. Many of the Gu masters present showed a look of disdain, while some old tribe leaders had an expression deep in thought. Yi Xianming, Jiang Wanshang, and Wei Xin pays respect to Dongfang Alliance Leader. In the study room, 3 enslavement path Gu masters, 2 males and 1 female, greeted Dongfang Yuliang together. Although there were no enslavement masters like Fang Yuan in Dongfang Alliance army, there were quite a number of enslavement Gu masters from the different tribes, and among them, these 3 were the most outstanding. Dongfang Yuliang sat as he moved his head slightly at the 3, immediately getting to the point. "The reason why I called you 3 here today is to discuss how to deal with Wolf King Chang Shanin." Wolf King Chang Shanin. Hearing this, their expressions changed. A person's name was like the shadow of a tree. This was an enslavement path master, having shook Northern Plains decades ago. Now that he had returned, he challenged 3 mid-sized tribes in one night. Not only did his strength increase, he even had the Night Wolf Emperor. With the help of He tribe, he controlled 500,000 wolves, and could affect the entire battle single-handedly. Such an expert, how could they be his match? These 3 enslavement path Gu masters looked at each other and saw the solemn fear they all had. But at this point, there was no use being afraid. The 3 said collectively, "We will listen to Dongfang Alliance Leader's instructions." Dongfang Yuliang laughed, but he changed the topic, asking them about the details of enslavement path cultivation. Enslavement path requires the most resources. Although we have our tribe's support, my crocodile group is only about 50,000 in numbers. "I am ashamed," Yi Xianming said. "I'm sure Alliance Leader knows my circumstances. I was not an enslavement path Gu master from the start. I started halfway when I found Blood Sea Ancestors' small inheritance during an expedition, and obtained quite a number of the Bladewing Blood Bats group. These years, I have been gathering the relevant enslavement path Gu worms, but my progress is slow." Jiang Wanshan sighed. Wei Xin sighed too. "In my opinion, the hardest part about enslavement path cultivation is the soul. Using ordinary Gu worms to strengthen and refine the soul has too low efficiency. I worked hard for 20 years, almost cultivating daily, but now I have only reached 800-man crabman soul. Among the three, the oldest and strongest person was Wei Xian. Soul path, enslavement path, and wisdom path, the three paths had a deep relationship. After Dongfang Yuliang heard Wei Xian's words, he thought about his own cultivation, and he showed an understanding expression. He slowly spoke, soul cultivation is very difficult indeed, ample patience is needed to accumulate your growth. Although I used the Coptis rhizome Gu, and slow slicing Gu to gain 1,000-man soul, it expended 10 years of my precious time. The three heard this and their expression changed when they looked at Dongfang Yuliang, turning into a look of admiration. Coptis rhizome Gu and slow slicing Gu, the former could strengthen the soul, but once a Gu master uses it, they would experience the most bitter taste in the world. Eating anything would be a painful torture to them. If they used this Gu for a long time, they would be unable to eat anything, and the Gu master would become extremely thin and weak. Meanwhile, slow slicing Gu could refine the soul, and get rid of the impurities in the soul, but in the process, the Gu master would feel extreme pain, like their flesh was being sliced away piece by piece. Dongfang Yuliang had outstanding talent, reaching rank 5 at this young age, but this was also due to his hard work, achieved through an uncountable amount of tears, blood and sweat. Dongfang Yuliang's expression turned serious. Do you know about our Dongfang tribe's combination killer move used by 3 people, called 3 Hearts Combination Soul? Killer move, 3 Hearts Combination Soul. The three's pupils shrunk. Dongfang tribe's famous triple combination killer move, who in the world would not know about it? Chapter 507, Surprising Thieving Heaven Inheritance. Red, green, and black, 3 colors intertwined in the air violently. A flickering light was reflecting in Fang Yuan's eyes. He was extremely focused as he concentrated on the half-finished product in front of him, trying to stabilize the situation. Qi 3. Suddenly, a shrill buzzing erupted. The sound waves vibrated in the air, forming a violent wind as it overturned the table and chairs in the room. Even the flower vase fell and smashed on the ground. Ink on the table fell on the ground as writing paper flew in the air. The 3 colors vanished, and the half-finished product exploded into a pool of blue blood traces, splattering on the surrounding walls. Failed again. Fang Yuan sighed lightly. These days, he had been refining Gu. This Gu was called nauseous crying baby Gu, used mainly to deal with 3 Hearts Combination Soul. 3 Hearts Combination Soul was a famous killer move of Dongfang tribe. It could allow 3 Gu Master's soul to fuse into one temporarily, going into a state where all 3 work as one, regardless of defending, attacking, or retreating. With Fang Yuan's experience these few days, his unclear memories started to become more vivid as well. He vaguely remembered that He Lulan suffered greatly in this battle against Dongfang Yuliang, only winning by a margin. Because of 3 Hearts Combination Soul, He Lulan's side suffered great losses. After that, Ma Hongyun rose up, and when he was dealing with Dongfang tribe, 3 Hearts Combination Soul caused great problems for him. Once, he was set up by some people, and lost terribly against this killer move, getting captured alive by Dongfang tribe. Ma Hongyun thus became a prisoner, and met with Dongfang Qinyu by accident, gaining her affection. Not only did Dongfang Qinyu let him escape secretly, she even told him all the secrets regarding this killer move. Ma Hongyun returned safely, and together with his wife, Xingling Air, who was a refinement path master, created the nauseous crying baby Gu, specifically to deal with 3 Hearts Combination Soul. Nauseous crying baby Gu had great effects on the battle. Using this, Ma Hongyun obtained a great victory, while Dongfang tribe lost consecutively. After they failed too many times, the killer move 3 Hearts Combination Soul was slowly phased out of use. During the Battle of the 5 Regions, chaos was everywhere and 3 Hearts Combination Soul was stolen by Central Continent Gu Masters. They improved upon it and it became a powerful move again. Ma Hongyun thus released the recipe of nauseous crying baby, and after everyone learned it, they modified it based on the original Gu recipe, to deal with the improved Three Hearts combination soul. Thereafter, Three Hearts combination soul finally lost its use, and was left behind in history. Fong Yuan rebirthed, with 500 years of memories, he naturally knew the recipe of nauseous crying baby Gu. But nauseous crying baby Gu was rank 4, while the refinement materials were not rare, the refinement difficulty was extremely high. Even with Fong Yuan's near refinement master level skills, he attempted it more than 10 times but failed them all. Sighing, Fong Yuan got up and walked to the window. This window was destroyed by the Gu refinement failure, the air blast broke the glass, as a huge hole was created. The wind from outside carried the smell of the grass as it flowed into the room through the hole. Fong Yuan pressed his hand on the window as he sent his primeval essence over. Quickly, the new window panels started growing, forming and blocking all the wind outside. The walls moved like intestines, the earlier crevices and holes created were all filled, while the broken vase fragments on the ground as well as the blood traces were devoured. This was the convenience of the large lizard house Gu. Large lizard house Gu was rank 3, advanced from the rank 2 lizard house Gu. The lizard house Gu was already large as a bus, it looked like a four-legged lizard on the outside, with a pathway inside the lizard that splits into rooms on both sides. The large lizard house Gu was like a 2-story building, its body was 5 times the size of a lizard house Gu. It was split into 2 stories, there were more rooms and a larger space within. This was given to Fong Yuan by He Lulon personally after he joined He tribe. His daily cultivation was all done inside this room. Aside from Fong Yuan, there were 6 rank 3 Gu masters guarding the surroundings. They took turns as sentries, paired with their investigative Gu that could deal with all hiding and lurking Gu masters. If Shadow Sword Expert attacks again, before she even gets close to 100 steps, she would be discovered by Gu masters, and her traces would be exposed. This was a measure set up after Fong Yuan's assassination. At this moment, Fong Yuan looked down from the window, seeing large numbers of mortals and Gu masters anxiously setting up their defenses. Some of them were digging canals, some were growing trees, erecting arrow towers, or building mud walls. A tight defensive line was starting to form. This was the third line of defense. Northern Plains terrain was mostly flat grassland, there were little obstacles and horses could run freely. Thus, since long ago, when 2 forces in Northern Plains engage in battle, the moment one side loses, they would not be able to escape, the winner would definitely be able to chase them down. Once a battle is lost, it would mean that it was the end, a tribe would quickly weaken or even face its demise. But with a defensive line, the results would be different. Once a battle is lost, be it retreating and escaping, or avoiding the enemy temporarily, waiting for a chance to counterattack, these defensive lines would have great use. Battles were a matter of life and death, it decided the fate of the tribes, it was dangerous and hard to predict, one tiny accident or a mistake from either side could result in failure. At this time, when a tribe retreats and defends according to their defensive line, they would stabilize their footing and would be able to regroup. This was the world of Gu. An individual had mysterious powers, it was not difficult to construct a long defensive line that was longer than the Great Wall on Earth. People soon realized the benefits of these defensive lines. Because battles in Northern Plains were not decided quickly, defense battles were much more advantageous than offensive assault. According to our intel, Dongfang tribe is already starting on the growth defensive line, there are still about 3,000 li of distance between us. According to their habits, every 800 to 1,000 li would have a new defensive line. Fong Yuan recalled from his memories. These days, he had been cultivating in closed doors, but he had a firm grasp of the outside information. He was a higher-up of He Alliance army, every day there would be Gu masters coming to give him information. Looking at the time, tomorrow our vanguards will meet and begin the battle. But there is still some time before I strike. Fang Yuan was guarding the central camp now with He Lulan. A few days ago, He Lulan had sent someone to convey the message of the showing weakness tactic. In all, they wanted to make use of the opportunity to lure Dong Fang Yuliang to make arrangements that he had prepared so that Fang Yuan could deal with him. Fang Yuan laughed coldly towards this. He had the Night Wolf Emperor, the Night Wolf group was easy to replenish. But He Lulan refused to use these cannon fodder, while he wanted to deal with Dong Fang Yuliang, he also wanted to suppress Wolf King Chang Shanyin. Fang Yuan had displayed Chang Shanyin's arrogance perfectly, this made He Lulan unhappy, as the alliance was newly formed, all the different tribes were contesting against each other secretly, especially when the current situation was He tribe's dominance. Thus, all the Gu masters were competing for battle merit, suppressing others to vie for more benefits. Water Demon Hao Ji Lu stood in front of the main tent for 3 days without moving in order to compete for the vanguard's general position. He blocked the door for 3 days and made a din requesting to participate in battle, and after defeating over a dozen competitors, he got his wish. Cunning Gentleman used his schemes to emerge victorious, gaining He Lulan's favor by showing his allegiance, now he was the #1 strategist in the alliance army. This was the internal strife. Any organization or political system had no lack of internal strifes. Chang Shan-yin was a loner, and also had 500,000 wolves, thus he was ostracized by everyone, since he is so strong, if he strikes, all the battle merits will be his, what would become of our benefits then? He Lulan agreed to Cunning Gentleman's plan because he had to stabilize his position as the leader, and also to defend the hierarchy. Wolf King is way too strong now, it gives me great pressure, there has to be balance, he has to be suppressed. Towards these issues and these people's thoughts, Fang Yuan was clear as day. His situation was different, the fight for the imperial court was just a jumping board, his motive was greater, much more than anyone could imagine, with the blessed land in his possession, he had little need for these battle games. Since they do not want me to strike, I would use this time to cultivate, isn't that more advantageous for me? What Fang Yuan lacked now was not these ordinary resources, but precious resources and large amounts of time. A day later, Water Demon Hao Ji Lu led the vanguard troops and engaged in battle with Dong Fang Alliance army. When the generals were fighting, Hao Ji Lu displayed great strength as he killed the enemy's general as well as 3 sub-generals. The enemy troops were without a leader, they lost their morale and were overwhelmed by Hao Ji Lu's army, allowing him to gain a great victory. But in the process of chasing them, he was attacked by Shadow Sword expert Bian Xian, and got heavily injured. Hao Ji Lu had to stop the attack and make a base there, nursing his wounds while waiting for the main troops to arrive. 3 days later, He Lulan led the central army and entered the front lines. 5 days later, the 2 armies converged. The 2 camps were only several hundred li apart, the tribe flags were erected all around the camp as battle was around the corner, the atmosphere was heavy. Late at night, the bright moon shines in the sky with few stars. In the room, Fang Yuan sat on the cushion as his eyes were shut, activating Space Thought Gu. This essence is securely nested within the heart of Novuro LSS Gen. Space Thought Gu, rank 5, was bought in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Using Moving Perspective Cup Gu, Fang Yuan obtained it from Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Under the effect of Space Thought Gu, Fang Yuan had half-transparent thoughts that appeared like bubbles, getting closer to the Brain Explosion Gu in his skull. Brain Explosion Gu was only rank 4, Fang Yuan used Spring-Autumn Cicada's aura to forcefully subdue it back then. But the Brain Explosion Gu still remained in his head. These days, the Brain Explosion Gu had been absorbing his brain matter, while being corroded by Space Thought Gu, it had finally reached a qualitative change. In an instant, the Brain Explosion Gu scattered into a lump of black light, a lump of white smoke, and a fist-sized space thought. The reverse refinement succeeded. Seeing this, Fang Yuan breathed out heavily as his heart was filled with joy. He moved the black light and white smoke out of his head, as they formed into two rank 3 Gu. These Gu were ordinary, Fang Yuan casually placed them at the side. The important thing was that space thought. Fang Yuan placed the space thought into his brain and read the details in it. Soon, his body shuddered as his pupils expanded, his face showing an undeniable joy that could not be concealed. This particular thieving heaven demon venerable's inheritance leads to Luopa Valley. Chapter 508, Challenging Wolf King. The pioneer of Soul Path, the legendary Gu master at the apex of rank 9 peak stage, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable once said. In this huge world, the best option for soul strengthening is Dang Hun Mountain, and for soul refinement, the best choice is Luopa Valley. One mountain and one valley, with both, one can obtain great success in soul path and sweep every obstacle in this world. Thus, Dang Hun Mountain and Luopa Valley became known as the soul cultivators' sacred lands. Fang Yuan was well aware of how huge a help these two sacred lands could provide since obtaining Dang Hun Mountain. His 1,000-man soul was cultivated through the Guts Gu on Dang Hun Mountain. Guts Gu was the number 1 Gu in increasing the foundation of the soul, it had no side effects and its efficiency was extremely high as well. Normal Gu masters would usually require about 20 years to cultivate their soul to 1,000-man soul level. Some geniuses with the help of their clans or the guidance of their seniors could cut down this 20 years by half. But for Fang Yuan, he used the Guts Gu on Dang Hun Mountain to strengthen his soul to 1,000-man level in less than half a year. This was coupled with the fact that Dang Hun Mountain was slowly dying from the immortal Gu Gruel Mud's corrosion. With Dang Hun Mountain, the speed at which Fang Yuan was able to raise his soul to 1,000-man soul level was like charging to the sky with a rocket. But apart from strengthening soul, the cultivation of soul required tempering to purify it. In this aspect, Fang Yuan's progress was much slower. Compared to the speed of soul strengthening, his soul tempering speed was as slow as a tortoise climbing. Fang Yuan was using Wolf Soul Gu to temper his soul, to transform his soul to Wolfman soul. But none of the Wolf Soul Gu he was using were rank 5, the most he used was rank 4. Using a rank 4 Wolf Soul Gu to purify 1,000-man soul was like pouring a bottle of ink in a lake, the efficiency of dyeing the whole lake was way too low. Fang Yuan had been searching for rank 5 Wolf Soul Gu, but it was in vain. But even without rank 5 Wolf Soul Gu, there was still one method. That was to use second watch Gu or third watch Gu to increase the time flow of his body, or enter the blessed land, to increase the speed of his cultivation. These methods could be used by others, but Fang Yuan could not. Fang Yuan's first vital Gu Spring-Autumn Cicada was slowly recovering with time. Before he becomes a Gu immortal, this Gu would be like an executioner's blade hovering above his neck. My 1,000-man soul was accomplished using Dang Hun Mountain, Luopa Valley is on par with Dang Hun Mountain, if I could obtain it. For a moment, Fang Yuan had an impulse to change to Soul Path. If I can save Dang Hun Mountain and obtain Luopa Valley, with the huge foundation of 2 sacred lands of the Soul Path, cultivating Soul Path would truly be a wise choice, even having much more prospects than the blood path I cultivated in my past life. But soon, Fang Yuan calmed down. According to the directions given by Space Thought, Luopa Valley is quite far away, the matter of importance right now is saving Dang Hun Mountain, now is not the time to go to Luopa Valley. The battle is approaching, I also cannot casually abandon my current strength path and enslavement path foundation. Fang Yuan was relying on enslavement path and strength path to become an influential figure in Northern Plains. But his current strength was still far from allowing him to roam unhindered and invincible in the mortal world. One shadow sword expert was able to obstruct him. Although he had second aperture, cultivated strength and enslavement path, had rank 5 peak stage cultivation, Fang Yuan was involved in a fight for the imperial court, he still appeared insignificant. This was a whirlpool of war that involved the whole northern plains. If one was just a bit careless, even a rank 5 Gu master had the danger of dying. My enslavement path cultivation has achieved some success and can influence the whole situation, but it is clear that my attack is strong but defense is weak. On strength path aspect, it is still not enough for defending myself. It will be trouble once people like Mo Shikuang and Bian Si Xian get near to me. I have to be much more careful in this battle with Dongfang tribe. Thinking of the imminent great battle, Fang Yuan did not have raging battle intent like others. It could be said that cunning gentleman was doing him a small favor, letting him stay behind the scenes and have more time to cultivate and increase his battle strength. In the following days, Fang Yuan nurtured his second aperture while trying to refine nauseous crying baby Gu. At the same time, he communicated with Little Hu Immortal to handle all kinds of matters in the Blessed Land. In Hu Immortal Blessed Land, Dang Hun Mountain situation continued to worsen, the whole mountain was shrinking day by day. Little Hu Immortal disposed of large amounts of gruel mud from Dang Hun Mountain every day to prolong Dang Hun Mountain's vitality as much as possible. Starry clouds covered the eastern part of the Blessed Land, the scale of starlight fireflies had expanded by 3 times of before, and there were even 50 to 60 more starlight firefly Gu than Little Hu Immortal's initial assessment. Being able to get this many starlight firefly Gu in this short period of time was all thanks to air bubble fish. These air bubble fish were gradually showing their effects. Previously, Fang Yuan had frequently entered and exited Hu Immortal Blessed Land, using Stargate Gu for a long time, which caused the amount of starlight firefly Gu to dwindle. Now, starlight firefly Gu expanded in numbers once more, alleviating his pressure. At the western part of the Blessed Land, large numbers of pink rabbits were reproducing. Since Fang Yuan had transferred the wolf groups to northern plains, the pressure on the pink rabbits had decreased, thus their numbers was quickly expanding. After Little Hu Immortal reported these news, Fang Yuan immediately made her transfer large amounts of water wolves from the eastern lakes to the western parts to fill the gap in the food chain, but even so, the rabbits were still expanding wildly. To prevent a rabbit calamity, Little Hu Immortal had put up a large group of pink rabbits for sale in Treasure Yellow Heaven, a few days ago. Fang Yuan was most concerned about the hairy men who were momentarily placed at the southern part of the Blessed Land. This was originally the Rockman's home grounds, now there was a group of hairy men who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The two sides fought for their territories, causing several small-scale conflicts. Under Fang Yuan's instructions, Little Hu Immortal secretly helped the hairy men win against a Stoneman tribe, and sold the Stoneman captives to Immortal Crane sect. Immortal Crane sect kept on trying to make transactions for the Guts Gu, but were always refused by Little Hu Immortal. Fang Zheng requested to see Fang Yuan several times as a negotiation representative, but was also refused. As for Treasure Yellow Heaven, another batch of gruel mud was sold, gaining another remnant recipe of Immortal Gu gruel mud. The remnant recipes of Immortal Gu Fang Yuan had sold before was once again resold by Little Hu Immortal after a gap of some time, obtaining 11 Immortal Essence Stones. When the same Gu recipe is sold multiple times in Treasure Yellow Heaven and more Gu Immortals obtain it, its treasure light will decrease. Thus, this method could not be treated as a long-term source of income. This was like a gold mine which was already mostly mined. The profits in the future would continue to decrease and not be worthy of too much expectations. After another 3 days of confrontation, Dongfang Yuliang personally wrote a war challenge and sent it to He Lulan. He Lulan was shocked and asked his subordinates, "Has the rear army of Dongfang tribe arrived already?" Cunning gentleman Sun Shirhan answered, "Their rear army is still 5,000 li away, building the 5th defensive line." He Lulan gave a sinister smile. Dongfang tribe's military strength was originally lower than ours and they still dare to split their forces. Sun Shirhan also smiled. Dongfang Yuliang is playing with fire. We might as well wait until our rear army converges, our military strength will greatly surpass theirs and at that time, we can crush through their whole army in one move. Baleful light flickered in He Lulan's eyes. He had a personal grudge with Dongfang Yuliang. When he went adventuring to gain experience in his youth, he saw Dongfang Qingyu and drooled over her beauty, but he was taught a lesson by Dongfang Yuliang and had suffered quite a bit. He really wanted to take revenge, but he was not someone who was easily controlled by emotions. Even a fool can see through this Dongfang lad's intention. He wants to battle, but I won't give him the chance. How long till my rear army arrives? He Lulan asked. Approximated 3 days. One tribe leader answered from the side. Good. I will write a letter to Dongfang Yuliang to change the date to 4 days later. He Lulan laughed loudly. Dongfang Yuliang received the letter and skimmed through it. Dongfang Alliance's higher-ups were filled with fury. He Lulan had written nonsense, proclaiming he was giving 3 days of time to Dongfang Yuliang in magnanimity, and hoped Dongfang Yuliang would live up to this good intent and enjoy the last days of his life. The crowd shouted for war one after another, but Dongfang Yuliang calmly smiled. Everyone, do not be impatient. This letter was already within my expectations. I have deduced many times over these days and have come up with a plan. Please listen to the details. 4 days were gone in an instant. In this day of battle, it was a day of fine weather with blue sky spreading to the distant horizon. Knee-length grass grew lushly, the two sides moved in formation that reached 100 li, raising banners with tightly packed troops. A twin-headed hill-sized rhino carried the main tent on its back. On the main tent was He Lulan, Fang Yuan, Hao Ji Lu, Wang tribe leader, Fang tribe leader, Yi tribe leader and other experts. Fang Yuan's position was naturally at the topmost left side of the main seat. N0v3L Realm was the platform where this chapter was initially revealed on N0v3L.B1N. Cunning gentleman Sun Shirhan was standing behind He Lulan with a loyal expression. He had already become He Lulan's trusted aide. The wind whistled, causing the banners to flutter wildly. Fang Yuan looked into the distance from his seat, seeing the tight and disciplined formation of Dongfang tribe with their main tent resting on a white cloud, floating in midair. One could vaguely see Dongfang Yuliang sitting on the central seat in the main tent with officials and fierce experts sitting on his left and right. Just from their disposition, they did not appear any weaker than He Lulan's side. At this moment, He Lulan's loud laughter rang in Fang Yuan's ears. Ha ha ha, this battle will signify the first step my He tribe takes towards the ownership of the imperial court and ruling the northern plains. Everyone, who wants to go forward and make the first challenge? His words had just landed when a group of Gu masters rose one after another, shouting or vouching for themselves to request to be sent to battle. He Lulan's gaze traveled through the group and landed on one of them. Pan Ping, you shall go. Pan Ping was tall and buff, his hair was reddish-yellow, on his waist was a scimitar with gold edge and silver handle. He laughed heartily when chosen, and just as he was about to agree, a loud shout came from the enemy. Junior Tang Miaoming has heard of the aspiring name of the Grand Wolf King for a long time. I have specifically come to get a pointer or two. Dongfang Yuliang has guts, he actually chose to challenge us first. That is Little Fox Commander Tang Miaoming, a rank 4 middle stage Gu master. She actually directly challenged Lord Wolf King. They must be planning something. For a moment, everyone's gaze landed on Fang Yuan, waiting for the Wolf King's response. Chapter 509, A Wave of His Hand. The two armies were poised for battle. He tribe had been about to send Pan Ping to challenge, but Dongfang Yuliang was the first to send Tang Miaoming. Tang Miaoming was Tang tribe's specially cultivated enslavement path female Gu master with rank 4 middle stage cultivation. She liked foxes and had exquisite control over them, but she did not have any notable achievements in history. However, Dongfang Yuliang specially sent her to directly challenge Wolf King, so it was clear he had a specific plan against Fang Yuan, and Tang Miaoming was one part of it. Wisdom Path Gu masters were like this with plans within plans. The people fighting against Wisdom Path Gu masters would not sense it at the start, but by the time they realized it, they would be deep under already. Tang Miaoming's public challenge attracted everyone's gazes towards Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan was at leisure as he drank wine and slowly placed down the wine cup, then looked at He Lu Lan, alliance leader, then should I take the challenge? He Lu Lan laughed heartily, pleased at Feng Yuan asking him before the battle, let these experts look at brother Shan Yin's might and be awed. Feng Yuan slowly stood up and used a gu worm to transmit his voice outside, little girl, your bravery in challenging me deserves praises, but you are not my match. Moreover, it is getting late. In front of the formation, Tang Miaoming clenched her hands which were soaked with sweat. Her lovely body shuddered at Feng Yuan's words, and her thoughts began to unfold at a rapid speed. Wolf King replied. He is truly arrogant, just like alliance leader Dong Feng expected. Now I should act according to his plan and use words to force him to battle with only 100 beast group against my similar-sized fox group. But, what is the meaning of his last sentence? Dong Feng Yuliang, who was sitting in the main tent, had been observing the situation. Tang Miaoming was an enslavement path expert he accidentally discovered not long ago. After Dong Feng Yuliang learned the details, he found that Tang Miaoming was very good at fighting with small-scale fox groups. Her skill at this aspect was quite deep, and adding in her set of supporting gu worms, she could even match an enslavement path master. Dong Feng Yuliang immediately thought of using Tang Miaoming to openly scheme against Wolf King Chang Shanyin. The Wolf King's prestige was deeply set in people's hearts. If he was beaten under everyone's gaze, it would definitely greatly raise their morale. What was even more matching was that Wolf King Chang Shanyin was very arrogant. Tang Miaoming was his junior and a female. As long as she was putting herself in a lower position, even Chang Shanyin would also find it embarrassing to bully a junior in front of everyone. Chang Shanyin, you are really as arrogant as the rumors say. He, as long as you come out to fight, Tang Miaoming will definitely give you a great surprise. Dong Feng Yuliang was inwardly excited but also had a doubt, it is getting late. What is he talking about? Not only Dong Feng Yuliang, but others also had doubts. But Feng Yuan's next sentence immediately answered their doubts, it is getting late, quickly start the battle. I still need to eat my lunch after it. Come, those who want to challenge me, all of you come out. After he finished speaking, he stood and then waved his hand from the main tent. Howl! 500,000 wolves howled together. The explosive wolf howls resounded through the skies. Their vigor was so majestic that even the wind stopped for a moment and all the experts shocked. Brother Shan, what are you? He Lu Lan's hand slipped and the fine wine in his cup spilled down on his robe. Could it be, the Wolf King is thinking? Dong Feng Yuliang's pupils shrunk, his expression paling. Following, 500,000 wolf group rushed forward like a majestic tide towards the opposite army. My God! Wolf tide, this is a wolf tide. Chang Shanyin, he is making a direct attack, he has sent all his wolves. Dong Feng Alliance army was in a chaos, the enormous momentum from the wolf group shook them. Many people screamed in fear, and countless defensive gu worms were activated. For a moment, countless light barriers with all kinds of color shone among Dong Feng Alliance army. Some just shielded one person while some shielded a large patch of land. Some formed into armors while some caused the earth to bulge and form into earth walls. Tang Miaoming's face was as pale as paper. She was standing between the two armies, and with the wolf group rushing forward, she would be the first they would charge into. Facing the endless wolf tide, she felt like she was a small wooden boat in a vast sea about to be swallowed by a shocking tide. Damn it, the Wolf King is not abiding by the rules. I came forward to challenge him and only brought 1,000 beast group. Tang Miaoming was shocked and also furious. Normally speaking, before a battle began, there would be a battle between experts in between the armies. This was an old practice in northern plains. In the battle between Gu master experts, not only would the winner's side's morale greatly increase, they could also understand the strength of the other side and be more prepared later. At the same time, this expert challenge could also build friendship. Once the battle ended, the losing side's Gu masters would have a way out when they surrendered. The challenge between experts. The moment Fang Yuan raised his hand, he used all his wolf groups and directly cut apart the round of expert challenging. Wolf King, do you know the rules? For a moment, countless people from both sides roared and questioned in their mind. The two armies were not too far apart, the wolf group's rush was quick and soon crossed this distance and unfolded an intense battle against Dongfang army. Attack, don't be in a daze, the wolf group has attacked. Kill, slaughter these damned wolves. Brothers, move together, fight alongside each other. A clamor erupted within Dongfang army. All kinds of colorful lights, rolling stones, golden lights, wooden spikes, water steam, wind blades and so on landed among the wolf group, causing enormous casualties in Fang Yuan's wolf group instantly. He tribe army was still standing on their spot, looking dumbfoundedly at the frenzied battle situation in the other side. Brother Shan Yin. He Lulan stared with wide eyes at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan smiled at Fatty He. Dongfang Yuliang is a rank 5 wisdom path Gu master. Since he initiated the expert challenge, he must definitely have had gathered a lot of intel to help him in making deductions. And it was the talented alliance leader who directly told me to make my move. He Lulan's eyes widened even more. He had commanded Fang Yuan to make a move, but it was not to make such a big move. Clearly, Fang Yuan had intentionally distorted his intention, but he could not bicker with Fang Yuan at this critical juncture. Move. All army charge, attack, attack. He Lulan swallowed his resentment and turned around towards the front, fiercely waving his hand and giving his command. Orders from Alliance Leader, all army charge. Orders from Alliance Leader, all army charge. The command was conveyed from top to bottom. The great army began to move slowly, hundreds of thousands of soldiers followed the wolf group in charging towards the other side. Tang Miaoming manipulated her fox group, changing the formation again and again to firmly protect herself. She was worthy of being the person Dongfang Yuliang had chosen. Under the charge of the wolf tide, with just 1,000 beast group, she continuously changed the formation to keep on resisting the charge. Her fox group surrounded her, forming a round formation. The formation kept on rotating with a natural flow to it, like a millstone or a reef. The incoming wolf group was like a tide, attacking wave after wave, but it could not break through the round formation of the fox group. However, Tang Miaoming did not have the least bit of joy on her face, she was even shouting madly in her mind. This damned Wolf King is simply a lunatic. Damn it, I might be able to hold on for now, but with this, I cannot move a single step. Someone save me, eh. Suddenly, Tang Miaoming's body stiffened, her complexion went completely white, her eyes showing fear and despair. In front of her, the He tribe army was gradually starting to move before her, quickly increasing their speed. Under the cover of the wolf group, they showed an earth-shattering influence and power of violence. Tang Miaoming momentarily lost her senses and the round formation of the fox group immediately collapsed. The two-headed rhinoceros came rushing over with explosive sounds. As He Lulan looked on from above, his heart received a slight jolt at Tang Miaoming's beauty. Who will capture this woman for me? He had just spoken when Pan Ping shot out. Pan Ping made a few jumps and fiercely charged to Tang Miaoming's side, moving rapidly. In a short few moments, he smoothly captured Tang Miaoming. He Lulan nodded with satisfaction at this scene, then turned his gaze towards the front. Dongfang lad. He gave a malevolent smile, his eyes burning with the flame of revenge. After a short time, the two armies officially started the battle. A large chaotic battle had begun. With Fang Yuan's one move, this great battle that had just started had entered its climax. Beast! Facing the incoming night wolves, Tang Fang furiously shouted and poured his primeval essence into Fire Pellet Gu. Whoosh! A fist-sized fireball shot forward, bringing a gale with it. This orange pellet fire struck the night wolf. The night wolf whimpered and rolled around the ground, but its whole body burned with the fire before shortly dying. Kill! Tang Fang breathed roughly and was about to charge forward when he was blocked by a Tang tribe elder. Third young master, don't rush ahead, the tribe leader has commanded you to return back quickly. But big sister has been captured. Tang Fang stared wide, he did not want to turn back. His big sister was Tang Miaoming. Third young master, rushing forward like this will only lead to your death. The elder hastily persuaded. Damn it! Tang Fang gnashed his teeth and clenched his fists, feeling his powerlessness. He was Tang tribe's genius, and he was only 22 but had already reached rank 3. Yet this rank 3 battle strength that could have controlled the situation in the past was now so minute in this great battle. The rank 3 battle strength that was normally hard to be seen were all present in this battlefield. Rank 3 Gu masters were reduced to mid-level strength, above them were those rank 4 Gu master experts and even more higher were the rank 5 experts. Big sister, wait for me, I will definitely rescue you. Tang Fang calmed down and swore in his mind as he retreated. Humph, leaving whenever you want. Leave behind your life. Right at this time, a rank 3 Gu master of Wang tribe rushed over. It is Wang Jiang. Third young master, leave quickly, I will hold him back. The Tang tribe elder instantly recognized the enemy. Wang Jiang's fiancée Luo Yufeng had been snatched by Tang tribe, so he had deep hatred towards them. And now in this large battle, he naturally would not let this chance for revenge go. Such situations were not few. In this world, people would have gratitude, grudges and hatred. Now, those with grudges could let out their grudges and those with hatred could repay their hatred. Chapter 5:10, Great Battle. Tang Tribe. The humiliation back then, I will repay it double today. Wang Jiang had a malevolent expression on his face as he gave a deep shout, his whole body inflated like a black bear as he violently smashed towards Tang Fang. Tang Fang was startled and furious at Wang Jiang's fierce momentum, and had the intention to battle with his life. Pellet Fire Gu. He pushed his right palm and an orange fire shot towards Wang Jiang. The fire made an arc in the air, quickly approaching Wang Jiang's face. Wang Jiang felt the burning heat before the fire even struck him. But he just laughed nastily and actually opened his mouth, without any intent to dodge. Gulp. He swallowed the pellet fire. This is rank for Swallow Fire Gu. Tang Fang was shocked. Swallow Fire Gu was not an offensive Gu but a storage Gu. But using Gu always relied on a Gu master's wits. Who was to say storage Gu could not be used for battle? Tang tribe always prioritized fire path Gu worms. Wang Jiang spent a huge price to purchase a rank 4 Swallow Fire Gu, so he could use it against Tang tribe sometime in the future. Wang Jiang, we will help you. At this time, 2 Gu masters rushed over, both with rank 3 cultivation. Tang Fang and the Tang tribe elder's expression turned pale. The Swallow Fire Gu could already restrict them, now the other side had 3 people, occupying a huge advantage. Third young master, leave quickly, I will hold them back. The Tang tribe elder saw the critical situation and stood up to fight to give Tang Fang an opportunity to escape. Tang Fang was not a conceited man, he gnashed his teeth and turned around to leave. Elder, hold on, I will quickly come back with reinforcements. Chase. Wang Jiang and the two others naturally were not willing to let Tang Fong escape safely, but who could have thought the Tang tribe elder that remained was a defensive Gu master and moreover had a rank 3 rare Gu, slow steps. As this Gu's name implied, it could slow down Gu master's speed for a period of time. Wang Jiang and the two others were slowed down and could only give up on Tang Fong, then with a belly filled with anger, attacked the Tang tribe elder. The Tang tribe elder could not fend off against the numbers although he had slow steps Gu. First, he was struck by Wang Jiang's punch, then his arm was severed by wind blade. Finally, a snowball turned him into an ice sculpture, killing him. Elder. Tang Fong watched with tearful red eyes. When he came back with reinforcements, he could only collect the corpse of this elder. The flames of hatred raged in his heart, but he could not find his enemies. The battlefield was in chaos. Large numbers of wolves rushed forward and created a havoc. Besides them, there were fox groups, war crabs, bats and other beasts. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, darkness. All kinds of attacks streaked through the sky and landed on the ground, rocks were smashed, flames ablazed, ice spread, lightning dazzled the eyes. Gu masters shouted and screamed, some attacked while some retreated, some were rushing to reinforce while some were defending. A great chaotic battle between hundreds of thousands of people was enough to fill a range of thousands of miles. Rumble. Suddenly, an enormous blue wave with the momentum of covering the sky, descended like an evil flood dragon. Large numbers of wolves and Gu masters were swept by the enormous wave. This part of the battlefield was instantly cleared up, several large puddles forming in this cleared grassland. A Gu master arrogantly stood in this center of the battlefield while laughing wildly. It is Water Demon Hao Ji Lu. Tang Fong's pupils shrunk as he recognized this man. Retreat, this person is a rank 4 upper stage expert, he is a demon. Many surviving rank 3 Gu masters wisely chose to retreat. Water Demon's fierce gaze swept through the battlefield and landed on Tang Fong's side who had the highest numbers. These rank 3 Gu masters were moving battle merits to Water Demon, representing a bountiful reward after the war. Water Demon licked his dried lips with his scarlet tongue, a bloodthirsty killing intent filling his face. Consider it your bad luck to have ran into me. Water Demon laughed loudly as he fiercely pushed forward his two palms. Rank 4 Waterfall Gu. Boom! In an instant, an enormous torrent bubbled and charged towards Tang Fong and his group with an immense momentum. Facing such a majestic attack, Tang Fong felt he was like a single person facing a tsunami, feeling he was facing a great catastrophe alone. Third young master, we will hold it back, retreat quickly. Several elders who had been accompanying Tang Fong, gnashed their teeth and stood in front of Tang Fong. They combined their strength and were finally able to hold back this waterfall. Leave! The elders' urging caused Tang Fong to feel stifled. Hold on, I will get father to come rescue you. He gnashed his teeth and finally chose to leave. Gagaga. Water Demon laughed wildly and engaged in the battle with the several Tang tribe elders. His offense surged forward, his water abilities charged forward with huge momentum as he used his power to overwhelm the elders, and although the Tang tribe elders had many people, they were falling into a disadvantage and it was becoming difficult for them to hold back Water Demon. After several moves, an elder lost his life at Water Demon's hands. After dozen or so moves, only one elder remained, with the rest dead. Water Demon laughed sinisterly and was just about to make the final move when suddenly a cold killing intent pounced on him. His plentiful battle experience had given Hao Ji Lu an intuitive feeling towards danger. He did not even look and immediately retreated backwards, giving up the battle contribution that was within his reach without any hesitation. Whoosh! A soft ripping sound echoed and right at the instant of his retreat, a four-leaf wind blade crossed through the air and brushed past him. The wind blade kept on rotating, making a long arc through the battlefield. Everything that it passed through, whether it were humans or beasts, were cut through, blood flew and limbs scattered. The light green wind blade spiraled a long arc in the air before flying back to its master. "It is you. Wind Demon Tan Wufeng." The sinister smile on Water Demon gradually disappeared and a solemn look appeared in his eyes. Tan Wufeng and him were called Wind and Water Demons, both having rank 4 upper stage cultivation. Previously, Water Demon rampaged in the eastern areas of northern plains while Wind Demon wreaked havoc in the western areas, their fame echoing with each other. But later, Dongfang Yuliang devised 3 escapement scheme to subdue Wind Demon. Tan Wufeng became Dongfang Yuliang's subordinate and sided with Dongfang tribe. "Water Demon, your laughter is too ear-piercing. Lord has ordered me to bring an end to your life." Wind Demon Tan Wufeng was clothed in green clothes, hovering in midair, grasping the wind blade that had returned. The wind blade only had 3 sides remaining from the consumption in the way, but with Wind Demon pouring in primeval essence again, it gradually began to recover back to the previous 4-leaf wind blade. Normally speaking, wind blades could not be retrieved once they were sent. Wind Demon played with the wind blade like some toy. He clearly had extraordinary wind manipulation skill. "Humph, it seems you have been taught pretty well by your master over these years, seeing nothing worthwhile around you." Water Demon laughed sinisterly, gazing at Wind Demon like a falcon. Wind Demon's expression suddenly turned gloomy. He swung his palm and shot out the 4-leaf wind blade, and at the same time, he also charged towards Water Demon. "Come!" Water Demon was at ease, a huge wave rising from below his feet. He stepped on the wave and charged towards Wind Demon. Boom! A huge explosion echoed, wind screamed madly and water wave surged high, unfolding an intense battle of rank 4 level experts. Surrounding Gu masters hurriedly retreated and soon a special battlefield was formed for the battle of Wind and Water Demons. As time passed by, not only these 2, other rank 4 Gu master experts also found their opponents. Dozen or so battle rings emerged one after another in the chaotic battlefield. These battle rings were not set in place, but instead moved with the battle between the experts. With the battle of higher level forces, the whole battlefield began to become clear. First of all was the large battle rings for the fight of the rank 4 experts. Surrounding these large battle rings were small-scale battle rings where rank 3 Gu masters fought. And beyond that were the fights between groups of rank 2 and rank 1 Gu masters. Fang Yuan took this chance to assemble his wolf group. The 2 armies faced off against each other, creating a deadlock. Usually, the side which broke through this balance would obtain the initiative which would accumulate into advantage. After their dominance was accumulated enough, it would change into victory momentum. Both He Lulan and Dongfang Yuliang knew this. Thus, their gaze landed on their elite troop. These elite troops that were either made of 300-400 soldiers, or 500-600, had received strict training to deploy their Gu worm together and create a formidable attack in an instant. They were the weapons to rampage the battlefield, the trump cards of their commander. Not every tribe had the ability to form elite troops. He Lulan's side had 5 divisions of elite troops while Dongfang Yuliang had 6. Dongfang Yuliang first deployed 100 Blossom's elite troop. This was Hua tribe's elite troop who were quite weak at attacking and defending, but were specialized at healing. With this division of elite troop moving out, they immediately healed large groups of wounded and stabilized the situation, providing a great assistance to Dongfang's side's base-level Gu masters. He Lulan looked at this scene from the main tent and snorted, commanding Blue Butterfly elite troop to attack 100 Blossom's elite troop. The Blue Butterfly elite troop that contained 500 soldiers who detoured the rank 4 Gu masters' battle rings and easily pierced through the battlefield, charging towards 100 Blossom's elite troop. Just when it looked like they were about to succeed, 3 elite troops charged in separately from east, south and west, surrounding the Blue Butterfly elite troop. Dongfang Yuliang had already planned for this and sent 100 Blossoms elite troop as the bait while making these 3 elite troops lie in ambush. He Lulan naturally was not willing to see the annihilation of Blue Butterfly elite troop, immediately sending other elite troop divisions as reinforcements. The debut release of this chapter happened at Noviro LB1N. Each elite troops of the two sides quickly converged and formed into several lines of encirclement. The situation once again entered a deadlock. Lord Tribe Leader, let me go forward and crush them. Dongfang she could not restrain anymore as he requested to be sent to battle. Dongfang Yuliang slowly shook his head and did not permit him. Dongfang she was Dongfang Tribe's Feather Arrow elite troops commander with rank 4 upper stage cultivation. But as long as He Tribe's Black Banner elite troop did not move, this Flower Feather elite troop could not be sent out. Dongfang Yuliang slowly swept his gaze through the battlefield and placated Dongfang Shi, Elder she does not need to be impatient, this is not the time for you to take the stage. The current situation is already within my expectations. Saying so, he calmly smiled and turned towards the 3 enslavement path Gu masters. It is time for you to show your strength. These 3 were precisely Yi Xianming, Wei Xian, and Jiang Wanshan.